Hi, this is Faith, and you are watching The Faith Factor. Holla. All right, good morning. Good morning. You are watching The Faith Factor with Faith and CK. And this morning, we're going to have a real fiery, good discussion about current events that's been going on all over Black YouTube. We're going to discuss the Brother Polight situation, since that is a hot topic. And I want to give you all my take on the situation. And along with me, I have my co-host CK in the house. What's up, CK?
Hey, what's going on?
Nothing much. You know, you and I, we talk about situations involving the Black community as far as the grape. I'm not going to say the R word, but I'm going to say grape culture in the Black community. And, you know, this whole Brother Polight situation, it pretty much brought me back to one of my older videos. I always go back to that one video where I pretty much said years ago that Black women are right not to trust Black male leadership. And it is because of the grape culture that's going on in the community. But what have you to say on this whole Brother Polight situation? I know that you've been doing a lot of extensive research on it as well.
I've been listening to Brother Polight for over a year, and it's comical because he'll talk about white supremacy, go on and on about it, and then he'll like step to the left or right, and he'll be standing next to like two white women, and we'll take pictures with them, and it's all one big joke. It always has been a joke. It always will be a joke. The difference now is that one of his girlfriends / wives went to the law enforcement because of what he did to her daughter, and now the joke is over.
And the thing about it is, it's not as if people like Sonetta and other, you know, groups of men that have been following him and collaborated with him over the years, it's not like they have not called him out on his activities with Black women and Black girls. But it's just a simple fact, like you said, it hit the police. And see, this is the other thing that I want to talk about, because in the Black community, we don't take anything seriously until the white man gets involved. But prior to this young lady's mother reporting Polight to the police, everybody knew that Polight was doing this with underage girls. As a matter of fact, I believe one of his wives, he met her when she was underage, and nobody said anything about it. We all knew about it, but nobody said anything.
Yeah, she said she was 16. Oh, so go ahead.
Yeah, we have to wait until the police get involved. Somebody goes and you know, involves the white man, it is, as we like to say, and then all of a sudden we talking about it, because now the police are involved, the courts are involved. But if the police and the courts were not involved, it would have been business as usual in the Black community.
Yeah, because she was telling Senator that she was 16, 17. And it's just like, you know, what is Polight messing with someone 16, 17 for? And it's more than likely he probably, you know, like a lot of other Black men do. They'll meet someone while they're 14 and just kind of like, quote unquote, be the mentor, quote unquote, be the friend, the family friend, and just, you know, say that they're taking them to school shop and taking them to get something to eat because the mom's at work or the mom's poor, you know, this and that. There's a whole bunch of different reasons. And just the fact that people were hearing about stuff that he was doing and they were calling him out for it, but they still were working with him. They still were buying books, still donating. So they were just passive. And that's the problem. People are passive as opposed to flat out just canceling him.
Well, the thing about it is, Black people, our biggest downfall, in my opinion, is that we are idolaters. We are the biggest idolaters in the world. And when I say idolaters, I'm not just talking about physical, or as you say, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not just material things. We idolize people in the Black community too much. We make our idols almost as if they're immortal and they can do no wrong. And if anyone points out a flaw in our idols, then we ostracize that person and we pedestalize the idol even further. Now, I've seen on Brother Polight's panel where people were going in his chat. They were going in on him and different things of that nature. But then I also saw the mammies come out.
The mammies.
And they're sitting up here, rather than pointing to this man and his dysfunction, they want to demonize this child. And this is the thing that I hate about some of the Black women in the Black community. We have a habit, the mammies do. The mammies have a habit of wanting to say that young girls that are 14, 12, 13, they fast. They sat up here and actually tried to put a spin on this situation as if the 14-year-old seduced him. Did you hear about that?
I did. And here's the thing about it. For someone to be a predator, that means they have to be superior in some way to who they're preying on to make them a predator. The 14-year-old girl, there's no way she could have overpowered Polight. Okay. Polight didn't have anything in his system, hindering his mobility. Okay. He might have been under the influence, but he didn't have anything that made him weaker or messed up his thought process to where he didn't know that he was putting his wand in her mouth. Because, according to Tasha K, and shout out to her, it's been reported that the girl vomited, like he made her vomit up the drugs that he gave her, and his semen was all over her shirt with her saliva and the drugs that he gave her. So how is she a predator? See, the thing about it is people don't really understand that when you're an adult, you're the adult and the child's the child. So Polight, while he had the little girl in his care, he's the adult, she's the child. So let's say, for the sake of example, like the mammies have been saying, and all of the conscious, all the conscious crunchies running around defending Polight, basically playing grab ass and playing with his booty hole. Let's just say, for the sake of example, that she was wearing a dress or some shorts that may have seduced somebody who likes little girls. He's still the adult, she's still the child. Point blank, period. And the fact that he told the mom, allegedly, that he told the mom that if she calls the police, that could ruin his career. If he's a victim, if the little 14-year-old girl, who probably is half his size, half his weight, half his intelligence, because she's half his age, if she's so much of a predator and he's a prey, why is he worried about his career if he's innocent, if he's a victim? If anything, he should want the police to get involved, because this little 14-year-old girl who don't know any better, who threw up drugs that he gave her with his semen on her shirt, she would be someone who's committed an offense against him. Him feeling violated. And that's the hypocrisy. Because when it boils down to it, people like Senator, and I'm gonna go ahead and start dropping names. People like S.A. Nader, Senator, and the rest of the conscious people, even YK and the rest of them. The issue is that they are going to follow and believe Polight, even if he abused 50,000 girls with DNA evidence. They need to go ahead and call it what it is. Go ahead.
Well, my whole thing is, while the mammies and the fuck boys, I'm just going to say fuck boys, they're not men, they're boys, while they're sitting up here trying to put this on this child, that she's fast and she's predatory, as they tried to depict her to be. They tried to make her into the bad person in this situation. to protect the predator. I just want to know, when did they start renting hotel rooms to 14-year-olds?
Facts.
Last time I checked, a 14-year-old could not get a hotel room. They were in a hotel. Who got the room? I'm going to go out on a limb and say Brother Polight got the room. I'm going to go out on a limb and say he got the hotel room. So how is he a victim when he's getting a hotel room? Why would you be going to a hotel room with a 14-year-old if you're a victim? Can the mammies and the fuck boys explain that? I don't think they can.
They still blaming it on the white man.
And see, when Brother Polight was sticking his wand in this young woman's or this young lady's mouth, the white man was nowhere in that hotel room. Now, the white man may have owned the hotel, but the white man did not tell Polight to go in the hotel room with this young girl. The white man did not tell Polight to give this young girl drugs. And the white man did not tell Polight to put his wand in that young girl's mouth. He did not tell Polight to do any of that. That was all Brother Polight, or forget brother, just Polight, because he's no brother of mine. Nobody told Polight to do that. That was all him. So for all of you that like to sit up here and blame the white man for everything that we doing to ourselves, you need to check yourself. Because a lot of the stuff that we do to each other in the Black community, the white man been gone. The white man ain't had nothing to do with it. It was all our decisions to embrace and uphold degeneracy. After a while, if you keep doing it, after a while, you're going to have to take some personal responsibility for that degeneracy that you keep upholding.
Yeah, you still got people who are talking about what goes on in the house stays in the house, and that's the problem. See, when people all right, so right now this Pedolite, brother Pedolite, when this Pedolite stuff goes away and people go to the next flavor of the week, flavor of the month, they need to remember that the reason why this stuff goes on and it stays rampant is because we're quick to fight each other over shoes, on panels, trying to argue and own points. But what we need to do is not just attack Brother Polight, but also attack those who are currently sympathizers like YK and Sonator. And, we need to attack the sympathizers, and we need to also attack the people who have known this whole time, but they didn't really want to rock the boat because they enjoy making money with Pedolite, with Brother Polight. That's the problem. And now all of a sudden, those same people are like, oh, well, you influencers are jumping on the bandwagon. We Ben said something, but you may have been said something, but you were still making money with him. You weren't calling the police. You weren't hiring private investigators. Talking about
and shout out to the young girl's mother, because see, if she had been a mammy like the rest of the women that Polight probably deal with, she probably would have tried to sweep this whole thing under the rug, kind of like Nicki Minaj's husband, the girl that he victimized. Her family tried to sweep the whole thing under the rug. They succumbed to the peer pressure in the community to sweep it under the rug, and it took years for that woman to get any semblance of justice for what that man did to her.
Yeah, and they're still harassing her to this day. But now it's amplified because Nicki Minaj is rich and famous. See, that the environment of people who are degenerate, people who are, I'm going to say, depraved, it's not them just going from the shadows and snatching people up. There's an entire environment that's created to allow them to do this stuff. So Polight more than likely did this. He probably went through the 10 steps of the grooming process. I had my ex-wife, her friend, who I didn't too much care for, her husband, who was my friend, he went and you know, let me know if I don't want to derail the convo, but I just want to kind of tell this brief story if it's cool.
No, it's cool. It's always cool. Go ahead, CK.
And so the husband, who was my friend, his stepdaughter, he put her through the grooming process. I know you and I talked about this behind the scenes, but so he started off with, every time the mom told the daughter she couldn't have something, he would go behind the mom when the mom wasn't around and give the daughter that thing that she couldn't have. So it was like shoes, food, candy, because the daughter
So
was
he was
supposed
was undermining the mother's authority in the eyes of the child, and while pumping himself up in the eyes of the child as somebody that the child can trust. But go ahead.
Right. Yep. That first step is gifts. So he was giving gifts, giving her special privileges. Every time the mom was like, you need to lose weight because the doctor says if you keep gaining weight or stay your same weight, you're going to be sick. He would sneak open cream pies to her, Reese's Pieces. And the main part of the attack was the bathroom. So while the daughter was taking a shower, when the mom was at work, he would go into the bathroom, and the first time or the first couple of times he would brush his teeth and leave out. The second time, after a while, he would go in there while she's taking a shower, the little girl, he brushed his teeth, he would say something to her, and then leave out. Then after a while, the third step is while the little girl taking a shower, he would brush his teeth, then say something.
Okay, CK, you're breaking up a little bit. You're breaking up a little bit. We didn't catch what you said. That's the only thing I don't like about
so make a long story short,
the borging.
Well, really what it is Joe Biden. He's pissed off at you because you was talking crazy about him during the election. He's trying to get you back, Faith. That's what it is.
Well, you know what? Joe Biden is a whole nother story. I'm going to tap into that in the whole situation with Afghanistan a little bit later and tie this into the reason why Black women should not trust Black male leadership. But go on with your story. The last thing I heard that he would go into the shower and he would touch the shower curtain and use the bathroom.
Right. So he basically did it in stages where every time the little girl would take a shower, he's sticking his head in and actually getting in the shower with her to help her bathe up. And because he was
Oh my goodness. Wait, CK, the boarding is really bad. I don't know where you are if you're moving around, but the boarding. Well, I can reiterate the story because you've told it to me so many times. But basically, this man was grooming this young girl to see whether or not he would be able to get away with molesting her. So he would do little things like, endear himself to the little girl by undermining the mother. If the mother told the little girl she couldn't have candy, he would sneak the little girl candy. If the mother told the little girl that she had to do chores, he would tell the little girl she didn't have to do chores. And then when the mother would be at work, the real grooming process would start when the little girl's in the shower, getting ready to start her day. So the little girl's in the shower, he would sneak in the bathroom and he would do stuff like brush his teeth while she's in the shower. Then the next day he would brush his teeth and then he'll start talking to her while she's in the shower. And then the next day after that, he would brush his teeth, talk to her, touch the shower curtain, and then leave. And then after that, it went from him brushing his teeth, talking to her while she was in the shower, touching the shower curtain, and then he would turn around and use the bathroom. Then it escalated from brushing his teeth, talking to her while she's in the shower, touching the shower curtain and then moving it a little bit, and then use the bathroom, and then he'll leave. Then it escalated from him doing those things to from moving the shower curtain to he'll peek around the shower curtain, talk to her, use the bathroom, and then leave. And then one thing leads to another. He's not just peeking around the shower curtain, but he's standing there and he's having a full-blown conversation while looking at the little girl in all her nakedness. Then he'll use the bathroom and leave, until finally he pretty much groomed her to get used to him being in that bathroom while she's in that shower in that compromised position. Now he's discarding his own clothes and getting in the shower with the little girl. And that's when all the inappropriate touching starts. So he did this. So he did this in small steps. And this is what CK is referring to as the grooming process. They're getting these little girls used to being in a situation where their privacy is violated, where they don't have any semblance of, well, you know, this is my private space and you have no business being there. And then he would sit there and talk to the little girl also about secrets that he and her had. Like, yeah, you know, I kept this secret from your mom that you didn't do your homework. Or I kept this secret from your mom that you ate that candy that you weren't supposed to have. I kept the secret from your mom that you got that grade in school. I kept, you know, he talks to her also about secrets. And so the little girl becomes afraid in a way that all the secrets that they have between each other, the mother is going to find out. This is a grooming process. But I'm sorry, CK, are you there? CK, are you there? Okay, CK is in a really bad area. He's on mute. But this was a situation that he explained to me. We talk a lot to each other behind the scenes, that happened with his ex-wife and his ex-wife's friend. And so it was a situation where, you know, this person was putting his ex-wife's friend daughter in a situation where he was grooming her to be his next victim. And see, this is what I tell people in the Black community all the time, tying this in with what's going on across seas, because that affects us over here too, with the whole Afghanistan situation with the Taliban. And I want to say a word about the Taliban real quickly, because I was over on Mahogany Roots channel the other day. I caught the tail end of her conversation. And during the tail end of that conversation, I mentioned to her about the Taliban and how now that they have taken over Afghanistan, that the main people that are really going to suffer are going to be the women and children. Because see, Afghanistan had been making strides as far as women and equality systems. They had been changing laws where women could finally get education, women could finally work in order to support their families. Because back, you know, in certain situations, women could not even work to support themselves. And they were put in situations where they had to do certain things, like become prostitutes and all of this, that, and the other, just to support their families. Because by law, by Islamic law, they couldn't work. There was no equality. So they had done away with all of those old Islamic law systems, and women were slowly getting rights. Now, there's nothing like what we have here in the United States, but they were slowly coming out of a system that oppressed them as women. And they were able to take care of themselves and take care of their families without having to become prostitutes. Now, the Taliban, those men over there, yeah, they're pale skinned, but a lot of them are Black men. A lot of them are black. And as soon as they took over, the first thing they did was they started spray painting over the billboards that had pictures of women in them. Women that had jobs, women that pictures of billboards depicting women being in independent roles. They spray painted over all those billboards. And that to me was the first sign of what those women would have to look forward to over there. So going back to what I said earlier, black women are right not to trust black male leadership, because this is what it would look like. Brother Polight, who was that other guy, Rico Worldwide or Miko Worldwide? I forget his name. The little traveling guy. The traveling guy that used to go from country to country. Come to find out he was going to country to take advantage of those country laws where they were a little lackadaisical on sleeping with underage people. Namely, it seems like he liked little boys. So you had him, then you had ETP, Eat That Twat, that little scandal that came out with him, where he was sending erotic messages to a little girl online, back and forth, going through the grooming process that I described earlier to you guys with that little girl. And now here we have Polight Kelly. Polight Kelly in the building. Polight Kelly with all his underage wives. Young ladies that he met when they were underage. And he began a grooming process with them. A lot of them had babies. Some of them had little girl babies. And so when those little girls, the little girls that he got with started coming of age, then Polight started the grooming process with their daughters. And so you all see that he had a grooming factory going on. And this is where I have to tell black women that we got to stop being so dumb. And I'm sorry, I'm not trying to blame victims here. That's not what I'm doing. What I'm saying is, black women, we have got to stop being dumb about these situations. We got to stop relying on other people to try to save us. Those young women, or those young girls, I should say, when they were 15, 16, 17, running away from home to go be with Polight, they looked at Polight as a savior, a way out of their situation, because they were poor, they were uneducated, they were ignorant. And not one time did they think, as they were running to this predator, that, hey, I'm 15 and I got a little 5-year-old daughter. 10 years from now, I'm going to be 25 and my daughter is going to be 14, 15 too. Now, if he messed with me when I was 14, 15, what would he do to my daughter when she gets to be my age 10 years from now? See, none of these black women, none of these black girls, I should say, because they were young, they didn't think of that. And it is up to us older and wiser women to parlay these messages to the younger generation, because this type of degeneracy exists in large numbers in our community. Not saying all, but it's just too rampant. 2 out of every 3 black girls are raped or molested in the black community. 1 out of every 3 black boys is raped or molested in the black community. That means that we got a grape culture in the black community. Why can't we just admit it without black men getting upset talking about tearing down the black male image. Fuck your image. Okay? Fuck your image. I'm not trying to preserve a goddamn thing when it comes to degeneracy and dysfunction in the community. Fuck your image. Let's talk about what's going on. But because you got mammies and because you got a lot of these fuck boys running around the community talking about preserving a black male image, we got this stupid saying, what goes on in the house stays in the house. And so we sacrifice our children in order to preserve these predatory assholes' image. Ladies, you are the first line of defense for the children. The first line of defense. Because, yeah, the numbers don't lie. 80% of our children are being raised in fatherless households. So our children depend on us most. So I know you're lonely. I know you want a man. You don't need a man, but you want one. You have a desire to have companionship. There's nothing wrong with that. But in your desire to have companionship, do not lose sight of your number one responsibility, and that is to protect the children. A lot of you lose sight of that. CK, I see you're back. Are you back, CK? Are you back, CK?
I am. Hopefully you can hear.
I can hear you. There's a little bit of borging on your end, or a lot of borging.
It's cut me off. So the addition to women and men who are lonely, people who, both men and women, if you've been touched and you have not from you, you're a big people may excuse who was the a lot of the be with issues.
Wait, CK, you're borging real bad. You're borging real bad. What's your signal on your phone?
Bar.
But I'll just wait for you to get into a better area. I'll wait until you get into a better area. Yeah, because the
okay, I'll go on mute for a second.
Yeah. Okay, guys. All right. So where was I? But I was talking about the mammies out here. Now, I'm not saying that this is every black woman, because I know that there are some good black women, but too many of us are lonely. So lonely that we will overlook our number one job and number one responsibility of protecting our children just so we can have somebody, because that's what's most important to you. And I'm here to tell you right now, the moment you became a mother, Your needs, I'm going to say not your needs, but your wants and your desires become secondary to raising that child. And see, a lot of you don't want to hear this because you all think, I deserve to have a man. I deserve to be in this relationship. No, nobody deserves anything of the sort. If you're a single parent, especially if you're raising young daughters, it would behoove you to wait. And I know a lot of you don't want to do that. That'll be too much of a huge sacrifice for you to do that. But here's the thing. There are too many predatory men out here for you to be rolling that dice. I waited until my children were grown. It was difficult. It was hard. Yes, I got lonely. And I'm not saying that you can't date while raising your children, but don't bring the men home. See, this is a strategy that we don't talk about as women. This is a strategy that we don't talk about as single mothers raising children. But my strategy was, yes, I dated. Yes, I took care of some personal needs and desires, but I didn't bring them home. Home was sacred. You'd have to be a hell of a man to meet my children. And there weren't too many that were hell of a man to do that. Everybody should not be meeting your children. And yeah, there's an incubation period because men can lie, men can manipulate, and they can have you thinking that they're good, upstanding men. And they're doing it because they want to get next to your children. So they got to disarm you in any way they can. And yes, they'll throw money at you. A good man, how can I say, money does not make a man good, despite what people like Kevin Samuel says. His money doesn't make him good. Money does not equate character. Yes, Ronald Finkley, keep yours in sight. Exactly. See, in the Black community, we're such idolaters that we get blinded by material things. We get blinded by money. And so then we run to our friends. Hey, girl. Whoo! This man gave me all the rent money. He bought me a car. He gave me this. He gave me that. And some of y'all don't even get that. Some of y'all just get a cell phone bill paid. Let's be honest. And you think you got a good man. Some of y'all get a stick of bubble gum and y'all go bragging about how good a man you got. Money don't equate goodness. We as Black women got to start looking at character. And see, when I dated men, I would put them through these tests. Because see, if he was always trying to get sex all the time, right away, immediately, without even trying to talk to me, without even trying to get to know me as a person, I knew what he was about. And they can't hide that very well, by the way. The average of them can't hide that desire. They have very, very little control over their sexual urges. And you will know this right away. Now, if this man cannot control his sexual urge around you, then what do you think he's going to do if you leave him alone with your daughters? He can barely control his sexual urge around you, but you gonna leave him alone with your daughters. And see, a lot of you all are flattered when the man seems to not be able to control his sexual urge when he's with you. Ooh, he could barely contain himself, girl. He was trying to do this, that, and the other to me. You're flattered. I'm telling you right now, you all are focusing on the wrong things all the time. So that's the number 2 thing. The first one was money does not make a good man. The second thing is you have to look at how this man is able to control his sexual urges. That's the second thing. A man that is not in control of his sexual urges should never be trusted around your children. Third, does this man have a good relationship with the women and children in his family? How does he treat them? And it's a red flag if there's a man that desires to have intimate relationship just with people who are younger than him, i.e., the man that has a lot of teenagers for friends, the man that's on the phone talking for hours with teenagers and he is not a counselor, the man that is out hanging at the mall with teenagers all the time. These are red flags. And if you all are not willing to take off the rose-colored glasses when you're out here dating these men, then you need to wait until your children are older. So at least they got a fighting chance to get the hell about the house and away from your negligent ass. If you're not going to do the vetting, wait. Because I promise you, I would say a good 80%. It's only 20% of Black women out here. And I know I'm probably going to get wrung through the mud for saying this. But it's only 20% of y'all that know how to vet. Even those of you that think you know how to vet can't vet. You got no business bringing nobody around your children. None whatsoever. You are the first line of defense. But see, we'll have panels all day long talking about the dirty, low-down Black man. But see, I would much rather go to the first line of defense, and that is you, the Black woman. I would much rather do that. And I'm going to get to the absent fathers in a minute, because you too fail your daughters and your sons just by not giving a damn and not being around. Because in the absence of a man, in the absence of that protection, a lot of these predators, they see that they have free reign to come into a situation and take advantage because your presence isn't there. And you all know this. You know this. But still, you want to blame the woman Oh, well, she don't let me see my kids. She don't let me be in my child's life. She don't let me do this and she don't let me do that. That is a cop-out. You too fail your children. You should never fail to be there. You should never fail to provide for your children. And you should especially never fail to protect. If your baby mama, and this is for the guys that have baby mamas, it is absolutely your business who your baby mama is dating and bringing around your kids. It is absolutely your business. Especially if you have young children. When she get a man, that's when you should start coming around your kids more and making your presence known. And I'm not to say that you're supposed to come around and try to cop block your ex from being with the guy. Because see, you ain't got no business cop blocking. But you come around, make your presence known, be in your children's lives, check on your children, spend time with your children. Especially when you see this nigga around. Because see, he's looking for signs that these kids are unprotected. Ronald Finkley said, truth, I struggled with that also. Had to try my best to keep contact. And now they both live here in my area. This lady told me, if your kids love you the way you say, they'll come back. And she was right. Exactly. You got to keep that line of communication open. I know you may not like your baby mama. You may not like that she giving that thing away. But you know what? That you didn't marry it. You didn't put a ring on it. Okay? And guess what? You don't own or control another human being. That's the other thing that you guys got to also realize. You don't own or control another human being. That person is with you because they want to be. In this day and age, nobody needs anybody. I keep telling everybody this. And see, you men will keep banging your head against a brick wall trying to get with needy ass women. Most of the needy ass women that I know are ignorant, stupid, and dumb. Why do you keep knocking them up and giving them babies? Because your low self-esteem having ass needs somebody to need you. And if she needy, then you think she can't go nowhere. But if she that needy, that means she can't be that bright. So you knock up these dumb women and then you sit up here banging your head against the wall because you can't control them. And guess what? They doing stupid shit. Deal with it. Deal with the consequences of where you put your sperm. Now, I have to say the same thing to you that I said to the women earlier. Now that the child is here, your needs, your wants, your desires are secondary. Secondary. So now if you were not able to control this woman, if you were not able to keep her in a position where she was needy all the time, if you were not able to do that, too bad. Okay, you failed. Now your main responsibility is being there for your children that you created with her. And a lot of you created these anchor babies, both men and women. You created these anchor babies so that you can anchor yourself to the other person. And when it didn't work, a lot of you men skedaddled. and you try to replicate the same situation with somebody else. Let's just be honest. And that's the reason why you got all these women out here that got babies by the same nigga. See, I'm going to talk about all the dysfunction in the Black community, not just some of it. Because all of it centers from people trying to control other people. And they try to do it with children. And you're playing a pretty dangerous game when you do this. You use these children, both men and women, you both use them as pawns. Men, you're going to knock her up, anchor yourself to this woman for the next 18 years, and you think you're going to control. And ladies, you sit up here and say, I'm going to have this baby. I'm going to anchor myself to this man for the next 18 years, and you think you're going to control. Both of you do it. I see equal stupidity from both sexes. And the people that suffer are the children. And so enter in the predators of the community. While y'all sitting up here bickering and fighting amongst each other and not paying no damn attention to the children that you have treated all this time as a pawn, these predators have been allowed to come in and take a strong foothold over these kids. Because a lot of you, I'm going to just be honest, a lot of you didn't give a damn about the child in the first place. Let's really, really take a truth pill here for a second. If we really start taking these red truth pills about why some of us have these kids, let's just say a lot of us didn't have these kids with the thought of nation building in mind. A lot of us did not have these kids with the thought of raising productive human beings in mind. Ronald Fickley says, we made them so just coming to grips of it is about them is when you learn responsibility to yourself and also to them. Exactly. I see CK is back. CK, is your microphone working? CK, are you there? All right, looks like CK still has not gotten his microphone together. Hold on one second. I got to go on mute real quick. I'll be right back.
Yeah, hopefully people can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you now, CK.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just kind of take it over until you get back. So yeah, the issues is not just people creating children to anchor themselves to other people, but also the issue is we regularly do not seek therapy. And shout out to Dita Rail because he's a YouTube therapist, but you know, people like him and Dr. Judy WTF, all these people that have licenses and education and therapy, we should seek it regularly because it doesn't make sense for someone to create a child and then just kind of be like, oopsie daisy, or I didn't want that baby. You want that baby, you raise them. The predators are preying on the environment where people don't care. And those children that people don't care about, they grow up and they say things such as, well, if I'm in the neighborhood or in the community and I see a woman getting jumped on, if she's not my woman, I'm not going to do anything about it. See, when we have that thought process of not caring about another person, it has nothing to do with being a coward per se or not caring about community, but really it has something to do with there's something mentally wrong with a lot of us. And those unresolved issues, those unresolved mental issues show just by having a non-concern for others. And there's more to it than just creating children and not caring about them, or seeing someone being harmed and not caring, or wanting to stay on the side of safety because you don't want to put yourself in harm's way to ensure that your community doesn't have degenerate behavior going on. But it also goes into the vein of decision making. How many men sat back and knew Brother Polight was taking the 14-year-old girl to his room? How many people covered it up? Because this happened in February, and we're hearing about it now because he was arrested. Well, how many people knew that he did it and didn't make any content, didn't make any videos, didn't do anything to inform us about the wolf? Not informing people of the wolf is a part of what makes an environment toxic. That's what's part of creating a cesspool of a community, and why so many people who talk about they're all about the community, they want to save this, they want to save that, they're helping to create the cancers that are making things the way they are. Now, I will say this much: I am an individualist, but I do believe that while you put yourself first, you don't want to put yourself in a toxic environment. I'm going to go on mute for one moment.
Okay, and while CK is on mute, I want to come back. Now, I'm going to open the panel up to anybody that wants to say something about the situation with Brother Polight. But I will say this, going back to earlier when I mentioned Afghanistan, when I mentioned those men and what they have in store for those women over there, and the reason why Black women for years have been right to trust our instincts about Black male leadership. We're right. Because those men, they claim, they say that they're going to continue the women's rights. But they're not talking about the women's rights as we know it here in the United States, where women can work, women can vote, women have a say over their reproductive bodies. No, they're talking about women's rights as they interpret it under the Islamic law. So they're being very sneaky when they say that they are going to continue women's rights. They're talking about women's rights under the Islamic law. And under the Islamic law, if you read a lot of what they have in their Bibles, women don't really get too much say over anything. So they're going to walk those women back 200 years into slavery. They're going to oppress the hell out of those women. Slayer Jim says the title is right. The obsession with sex is just way too prevalent. How you have all these wives, but still feel the need to abuse a child. Exactly. Exactly. That is a sickness. That is a sickness. Slayer Jim also says that the Taliban made a news reporter leave her job. Those women look so frightened. And that's exactly what I'm saying, Slayer Jim. Under Islamic law, a woman cannot work to support herself. A woman's place under their laws is in the home. That was the reason why before the United States came there 2 decades ago and occupied Afghanistan, the women were very oppressed. The women whose husbands, and that's the thing, under Islamic law, your husband can leave you, but you are not permitted to get another man. and you are not permitted to make money for yourself to take care of yourself and children that your husband left. And if he decides that he likes the new wife better than he likes you, and he gives you bare minimum, you and your children bare minimum, you just have to sit back and accept it. You can't get a job. You can't support your family. And so you have to go under the table and do things that a lot of women in those countries do, like become prostitutes. They enter into prostitution to support their families. And so then you have black men here in the United States, shout out to the traveling brothers, that go into those type of countries and they meet women that's in those types of situations, and they come back here and brag about submissiveness of those women. How are you bragging about the submissiveness of women who are oppressed in their country? That if they had choices, they probably wouldn't mess with your ass either. But because they got to support their family, they will mess with you. They will tell you anything you want to hear. They will cook for you. They will suck your penis the way you need it to be sucked, just so they can support their family. But you all come back here and brag about those women over there, those people who are oppressed and struggling, and they don't really have too many choices. Like I
Yeah, because
said, oh, go ahead, CK.
yeah, because what it is if the women have choices, they wouldn't choose a lot of these guys. See, when the guys claim they go overseas and they're meeting these women, they're not meeting the normal citizen. They're not meeting anyone who's like well-to-do. They're meeting prostitutes. They're meeting people who are poor, and they're meeting people who want to come over to the United States on a visa. So what a lot of guys are describing when they say submissive, they're really talking about slaves, because submission just means you respect someone's authority. Kind of like how we are submissive to the rules and laws of the United States. We're not, we, even though
CK, you cut off. But CK, are you there? I heard something. All right. Well, CK is borging really badly. And like I said, I was going to go ahead and open up the panel. Right now, I see Ronald Fink, and I also see Chaos Rain. So I'm going to go ahead and add you both to the stream. Welcome to the stream, Chaos Rain and Ronald Finkley. Who would like to go first?
Ronald.
All right, Ronald Finkley.
Yeah, I'm here. Can
All
you hear
right,
me?
what are your thoughts, brother? And welcome to the stream.
Well, thank you, the faith factor. Believe it or not, I'm just glad I got this topic because I've been hearing about this topic, and I see you guys talking about it very intelligently and how a person's supposed to think, like common sense wise and morally correct wise. Yeah, that last point you made about like how the soldiers go over and they see these women and they submissible. That was something I learned just now. I didn't really look at it like that, and that kind of adds to the point like of how men kind of go over the limit when it comes to like the woman's not a citizen type attitude, even with the women that are citizens in this country. So I just learned a little bit, and I'm enjoying the conversation. I'm just sitting there enjoying the conversation. I'm painting outside, and I'm listening very attentively. Trust
hey,
me.
Ronald, can you turn your mic up?
You know what? That's kind of going to be impossible unless I go out and have a speaker, because my Bluetooth is lower. But I hope you heard enough for that, though, sir. Choose brain. How you doing today? Yeah.
Okay, well, I heard a little bit of what Ronald said, and I appreciate you for coming up, brother. It's just that your mic is a little bit too low, so the audience is saying that they can barely hear you. You sound muffled.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll
Yeah, you
go
might
back out. I'll have
use the cell phone. Do not use the Bluetooth because Bluetooth doesn't work well depending on your phone device. Either it's Android or iPhone. They said that Safari works well with the StreamYards from what they say, but who knows? Oh, he dropped it. I hope he takes the advice. Now, Brother Polight. I talked about this last night on my little call-in show, which I put on Anchor, Spotify, and all that stuff, including the Fresh and Fit cats. My thing is this: when they talk about leadership, now I'm not sure if people saying they look for one Messiah to lead the whole Black nation. I'm hoping that's not what I'm getting at.
No, it's not just one Messiah, but just like the Taliban is a whole group. I'm looking at the entire group of Black men, and I'm looking at whether or not, as a whole, Black women should trust Black male leadership as a whole. Like, I understand that there are good men, within the African American community. I understand that, but as a whole, if something was to go down tomorrow and Black men were to come into leadership, would Black women and children be in trouble based off of people like ETP, Rico Worldwide, Polight? I refuse to call him brother. He's just polite to me. There's too many people like this running around in the Black male community. And for the longest time, you had people like Sonetta that claimed to be a good Black man himself. But I'm kind of questioning that, because he went on, even though he knew Polight was participating in this type of activity, he was still breaking bread with this brother. And see, to me, when you got a so-called good brothers out here seeing the degeneracy going on and not saying anything, and what's worse, working with these types of men, what does that say about their leadership, and what does that say as to what would happen to Black women and children?
How familiar you know of Sonetta? How well you know Sonetta? This is your question.
You know what? I really don't follow him. To be fair, I don't follow him.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you something, because I have followed the brother for years now. After the last couple years, because now he's shifted a different direction. Because let's be honest, and I remember George making cover this because he's been it a little longer than me. Then when I heard about this so-called conscious and Black conscious so-called movement in the last decade and a couple years, I think, and how I look at and conclude that from what I've read, I read a book by the same author that these dudes sometimes talked about years ago that they don't mention much, Amos Wilson, where he talks about the falsification of Afrocentric consciousness. Now, I can't go word by the book because I read it a few years back, but he already called this out 20-something years ago before his death in 1995. This thing that we're doing right now, when people say they're conscious and all stuff, is an illusion. Because once you know, there has to be a sense of action for actual change, since the mind has been slowly awoken. And what we have noticed, this has become a big hustle for decades now. And the people that was trying to give some information to awaken the few sleeping Negroes, some have been affected, but the rest did not want to hear. Even now, some people don't want to hear now. Sonetta is a hustler. For him to still break bread with Polight, even with all the back and forth he had with Polight years ago, and let's say he's defending him now, it tells you who's paying this man's bills. Because he doesn't stand on nothing. And he never did stand on nothing. And if he went on a rant and called everybody that just got awoken because of his works from his DVDs and him going to street corner for decades, it's telling. So in regards to this leadership thing, I mean, I look at, if you have a man that's productive and is doing what he's supposed to, I mean, you deal with him. In regards to this whole Black male collective male leadership, I just don't see it. And most Black men are not going to sign for it. Now, if things really go bad, if we want to go there, then it's going to see what is going to make or break us Black people in America. And I'll be honest with you, people are not really tested unless pressure is applied when their back is against wall. And I think Black people are not really walls are behind the backs yet at all. But when the system really tightens up and really things really fucking happen, we're gonna see who's real, who's not. To be fair and honest. Because right now, majority of people, and I say average majority, are comfortable. Even here in this space on YouTube, when we see the message they put out, the content, it's become even more divisive in the last few years. And we are pushing the same propaganda schemes towards each other through this same digital space, through podcasts and YouTube. So we're doing the so-called, quote-unquote, devil's favor. So when we find like this dude has been having sex with underage girls, it should be expected, because look who's the master teacher, Faith. Who's the master teacher? Who's Godfather of Brother Polight? Who's he again? What's his name?
The Godfather of Brother Polight?
Dr. Malachi Z. York.
Okay, because see, I'm not familiar with any of these people, but who, now, can you give us a little background on Dr. Malachi?
YouTube is our best dictionary. You're going to have to do that, because I don't follow the dude, besides for the last couple years when I heard that he was doing a major bit in jail, a lifetime sentence. And I remember Garfield had some people came up and they tell about their experience working and being under the care of Dr. Malachi Z. York. It's not good, but he, like many teachers, did help and bring up, I guess, Brother Polight, or Polight himself. You get me? And he always references master teacher. I don't know if he's still doing it now, but he always references it for the last decade or so. You know. So if you look at the breadcrumb and you follow that the seed of the father and all this nonsense, he is almost a replica of this man in a way, because regardless if he admitted or not, why he's doing some long time in jail, like, you know, a big sentence, it's telling. You get me? Because these people are very consistent, very consistent. So
are you saying that York is doing jail time now?
He's doing life sentence right now in I'm not sure what state he's in, but he's doing life sentence for the same thing about hurting the children, doing certain things. I can't remember off my head because, like I said, I'm not part of the camp. I only go by what was left, the information that people said about the man, even including there is records. There's even things, the documents of this guy that when he was incarcerated, I think it was in 2001 or 2002. It's been almost 20 years. So yeah. I mean, it's out there on YouTube. People could Google it and stuff. All the information is there. But at the end of the day, in regards to this black leadership, you know, you only need one man that you could depend on at this point, if you can. But if you're a woman, you have children. I'm just telling you.
So Black Audacity says that York was sentenced to 135 years in jail for child sex trafficking.
Yeah, if that is the verdict that he got, then yeah, that makes sense. And it's more sex trafficking. They say he was sleeping with some of these kids. I mean, a lot of things have been going on with the Nuwapians, and I know most.
And this was the mentor of Polight.
Yeah, he was mentor of a lot of Nuwapians, mind you, under his camp. A lot of them. You get me? A lot of them. Not just Polight, a whole lot of them. You get me? That his master teacher, because he links what he was saying and doing. And you gotta understand, Faith, under this moniker of Black Woman's God, it's a nice little slogan that gets a lot of women that have no self-esteem to go fall for that shit. You get me? And it's done well in this community for some time now. But I'm guaranteed right now, times have changed now that I don't think that's gonna be effective now. If you don't have your self-esteem is very weak, yeah, you're gonna fall for that. But if you have a very high esteem of self, you're not gonna rock with it. You're gonna look more than what I'm asking me to tell you. Because let's be honest, the victims he got are weak-minded people, especially ones that's underage and ones that's a little older. He was having sex with the mother and having sex with the daughter that are non-black. What that tells you. And if he was doing this with them, you damn sure you know he was doing this with black women.
Exactly.
I mean, come on. Let's not be naive here. Now, the biggest question people should ask, will he do time in jail? I don't know. Because the way how the system's structured, if he walks out of this, let's say if he walks out of this in 2022, because there's going to be some trial on this. Because once the county is involved, he's going to have to sit in front of a jury and all that stuff. If he survives this, let's say if he hypothetically does survive this, I'm going to look at the black community and say, all right, None of this man had this track record. Are you still gonna be fuck with him? And my answer is gonna be yes, because people love this to fall chaos and disorder. People don't do background checks on a lot of these content creators. Fake. None of them, including the females.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
And the reason why people say they don't, because let me tell you something. 90% of people that watch this content don't really do background checks and saying, okay, I'm hearing people talk about you. Is there a trend? Let me YouTube you and see any videos on you. And they find that there's receipts. And say, why do you have receipts of you doing something different? You say you talk about certain male groups, but you're doing the opposite, getting in beds with them. Or even with the male side. Talk about you don't deal with single mothers and stuff, but we find out your receipts that you knocked up one. You see how this is going? Where this is going?
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I was saying earlier about vetting, about, you know, being aware of who you're bringing around your children. But I want to ask a question to the men on the panel, because see, there was a panel of women where the women asked each other the same question, but I want men to answer, because this is really dealing with you. Now, a lot of mammies, a lot of fuck boys were saying that this girl was the predator. A lot of them were saying that she was the one that seduced him.
The 14-year-old?
Yeah. So my question to the men on the panel: if your girlfriend's daughter was 14 and you found yourself in a situation where she was trying to seduce you, what would you do? And I'm going to start with Brother Ronald Finkley.
Yes, how you doing again? I know you can hear me now because I got it on speaker.
Yeah, I can. You're a little bit louder. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, you know, and to that point, what you just said, if somebody was like that young and was trying to seduce me, I would look at them and I would tell them that I got to get far away from you as possible, because you're not acting accordingly as a child should. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's just simple and plain. Like, you know, you don't sit there and you don't try to entertain that. You just look at them, and you might even tell their parent or whoever, like, look, your child is being really weird right now, and I don't find that comfortable. You know what I mean? So that on that note,
Exactly.
and
So what would you do if you were in that situation? How would you handle that child in that situation?
well, if I was in that situation, I would not talk to that female no more. I would probably just leave her alone totally, because that just makes more sense, because evidently she doesn't have control of her household to not know that her daughter shouldn't be doing that, you know, in the first place. You know, that's just too overboard. You know what I mean? Like, for a child to be acting like, you know, that, if that was the case, like, you know, but I've ran into that situation. So, but that's how I would handle it. I would just, like, you know, not have contact with the lady that I thought was a good lady, but evidently if she can't control a child, you know, that's something that I shouldn't want to be around in the first place, you know.
Okay, all right. I think that's a good answer. You know, I think that's the safe answer. You know, if you don't feel comfortable in that situation, and looking at the character of the mother as well, yeah, I think that's a good answer. And Kermature says that he would tell the mother and never come in contact with the child ever again. That would be kind of difficult if you're seeing the mother. You know, it would be kind of difficult. But I hear you. Okay, so next I want to get CK's take on it. CK, are you there? CK, are you there? CK's been having problems with his mic all day. All right, well, we're going to skip over CK because I think he's having problems with his mic. And we're going to go to Chaos.
Is CK at home or is on the phone? What is he doing? He's working now.
Oh, I'm struggle streaming right now.
So you're on a cell phone, right? You're doing this, right?
But
yeah, it's back here. All right. Yeah. CK, if you're using cell phone, maybe you should use the data. This is one time. I've noticed when I'm using Wi-Fi, I try to save data, but I think for the sake of the conversation, we just might make the sacrifices.
Can I add a point real fast? Chaos Rain and Mr. Faith Factor.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was experiencing a whole situation where, as though, I left a whole group all because I felt like it wasn't no unity, within the community. So and I followed Sinetta and them before, but I was in like a whole different group after I stopped following them as far as like boxing stuff. But the point I'm trying to make is that like, I did that for like 5 years, and then one day this person just came out of the blue and he was just trying to groom this person online. And I saw that and I just told myself that I can't condone that because I didn't think it was right. And they kicked me out the whole group, meaning I left two on my own. And I have recorded this all on my channel of like, because I'm just a boxing head. But I had to leave them. And I felt better when I left because I know I made the right decision because I saw how they protected this guy. You see what I'm saying? Like, so I got experience in that. And I just say more power to them if they can survive that, because I just feel like it was a stain on the whole community, as a whole.
Yeah, and you absolutely made the right decision, and there should be more men like you that make decisions like that, but instead we're like pack animals in the Black community where we have to follow the leader of the group no matter how wrong they are.
Exactly. Exactly. And I feel a lot better. I actually learned more about the sport, and I ventured out, and I've been better ever since. You know what I mean? And I don't even go on channels no more thinking about being a mod. It's just all about what you like to follow. And I like to follow the right way. I don't like to follow the wrong way, you know.
Yeah,
And
that's
that means like,
commendable.
and your channel is great, Commendable K's channel is great. I've been following you guys for a minute. I don't comment all the time, but I'm usually in the chats, listening and things like that when you have good topics. Remember the last topic y'all had with the chick that was twerking on the Capitol steps? I think that's the last time I was over here.
Yeah, it got kind of heated over there on that topic.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna go back
But
to doing what I'm doing, and I'm gonna listen though, because
okay, well, I appreciate you for coming up, and definitely do come again. I appreciate you, bro.
most definitely. Peace out, Chaos Reigns at Commendable K and Faith Factor. One.
All right. So, Chaos Rain, I want you to go ahead and give us your take on the situation. Your girlfriend has a 14-year-old daughter, and she is coming on to you.
Well, the thing that comes to mind, if any young child is coming on to a grown adult male, the thing that comes to mind that there has been trauma already instilled into the girl. That means someone has touched her before she even know anything about intercourse or sex. And that's something I have to sit down honestly and have this conversation that, you might have to have your daughter check, as an adult male. Now, if she gets in her feelings and thinks that way, then that's when I have to really cut ties with the mother. If I have to entertain a baby mom. That's my only answer.
Okay. So basically you're saying the same thing that the other gentleman was saying, Mr. I forget his name, goodness gracious. I'm gonna say the man's name wrong.
This Mr. I think his name is Ronald Finkley, but I'm saying something
Ronald Finkley. Yeah, Ronald Finkley said the same thing.
Well,
he said the exact same thing.
I said something different because I emphasized that she has to take her child and get actual help. He decided what Ron Finkley said. If you listen, he said that he just don't want nothing to do with her and them, the daughter. Complete period. He just said, let me just get out of it because of a bad situation. And I like to deal with the solution part. And depending on the solution part, I just don't have nothing to do with it because I'm more deal with there has to be some healing and actual works that the mother has to take with her resource and make sure her child gets actual help. Because anytime when children of any age are taking light and they want to, they want to be about that, I have to, as a man, use my logic here that something has happened that you've been either two things, been abuse or touch. One the other, because you should not be thinking, no, I'm saying, I'm with your mother. Why would you have some liking towards me? You get me? Something's not right here.
Right.
Now, a lot of people say that, well, some young girls, when they reach, when they have their menstrual and they might feel they want liking boys. Yeah, but there's a certain relationship between mother and daughter. Period.
That's true. That's true. That's absolutely true.
If she feels she's that bold to come from being from me and want that tells you you don't have no strong relationship or your daughter has been sexually abused. It's one or the other. And this is what happens with our Black women and girls. That if you're a parent, it is your responsibility to be parent first and maybe a friend second, if possible. Because you had to create that bond, that real bond, especially with your daughter. And if your bond is not that strong, your daughter is going to take a certain not respect of you or any other woman. That unless they have a certain way that she likes. And we gotta get out of this liking thing as Black people. We should have come to understand respectful that said, I'm the mother, or I'm the adult, you're the child. I'm saying I'm here to guide you as best possible. Yes, I'm still gonna be
But see, I'm not a friend to an underage child. Now, me and my
Right.
children, we didn't start, working towards a friendship until after they became adults.
That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. I'm trying to be as clear as possible, Faith, because we have to do something different as a community. You get me? And
But I like what you said though about the solution, because that is absolutely right. If the mother isn't trying to get to the bottom of the actions and the activity of that child, then you have to look at that mother sideways as well, and wonder what it is that she's hiding.
Exactly. And there's too many parents. Rather, we have a very high single parent rate in the community. That this is a norm now. This is common now. And let's be honest, rape culture in the Black community is a normal phenomenon. We all know where it comes from through the abuse and the things during enslavement, epigenetic stuff. But it is our responsibility as Black people now that we have to fix ourselves one way or the other, and we're gonna have to fix this.
Whoa, hold on, Chaos Rain. Now you said great culture in the community. Now you a Black man. Now you supposed to be preserving the image.
Well, I can't preserve image of disorder. You know what my name is Chaos Rain. I'm here to restore the order in which the world you live in today. And it must take a greater or extremer chaos. I don't know what people fucking know who this is. Don't be fooled because I pop on the panels. I'll tell you personally, listen. There has to be order. And some order is not going to be nice. And the problem with us as community, we do not want order. And let's be honest and be upfront. We want to do what the fuck we want. The men and the women. And with this thinking and this decision we make, the world is going to continue to move as it's supposed to move. In chaos and disorder. You know what I'm saying? Don't expect the white man to sit there and bring order to your lives. He sit back and laugh at y'all and wants more disorder. Matter of fact, he wants this disorder so bad that he has stepped in and said, I must come in and save you Negroes. I must save you from the big booty, boogie Black man. Hell, I will save you Black men from these ratchet women. You know what I'm saying? I will do cuts. You don't want that. So you want to be the communities where you reside to restore the order as best as possible. You do not want to leave this to these group of people. These group of people love when we're in disarray, backwards. They love it. Matter of fact, you see them sit down in councils when there's no Black people around. They talk about niggas. Why? Because they always say, how can we keep control of these niggas? You know what I'm saying? We know we got a lot, but I wanted to apply more pressure on these niggas. You know what I'm saying? Because this is a strategy game. It's a chess game between us and them. And I see moving forward that is only going to amplify. You think that the homelessness that's bad in Black America, you have not seen nothing like going on next year. This is only a snippet that if men are homeless, you know damn sure they're going to probably put a good portion of segment of our females homeless as well. They ain't gonna put all of us homeless because you do that, it's gonna be a problem. But they're gonna slowly do it. Slowly. So that way they're not at fault for it. They said, well, we tried to help these niggas. No, you are the problem still. But because we are focused on each other too much, we're not really dealing about how we're gonna deal with the main problems, the major problems out here. You get me? So, like I said, the disorder with the protection image, there's some way that should be protected, but we have to be honest too. You get me? And a lot of Black people, let's be honest, we're not really serious talking about what we're going to do if, let's say, this really is happening. Do somebody have to go to jail for this? I mean, we're going to have to be honest now. If we want the future of our children to be right in the head, body, and action. And a lot of children that are adults are coming with too much mental baggage. Some of them are going out in the environment, doing things out uncharacteristic, just to survive. It's a damn shame, Faith, to me to know that even this last year going this year, that a lot of women, because a lot of women, they go to school, either they finish now, that you should be being productive. You should not be turned to low levels of sexual activity just to get by. You get me?
Yeah.
I mean, that is me. I mean, now a lot of men gonna like it, and a lot of women don't like it because say, well, they gotta make the money. Yes, you should make your money. This is a free country, but how you make your money is determined. Hell, Faith, you were married for a long time, and you went into what we call a truck industry, which is more controlled by men. But you go in there because you decide, I'm not gonna sell my body. At no means. I rather work. If I have to work these so-called men job, I will do it just to show preserve of my sanity and my dignity as a woman. We lost that. And with most women, even to shift gears a little bit while TK comes back, I talked about when this so-called content creator knocked up a baby mama that they've been talking about for the last 2 weeks. And I'm thinking, saying, you men talk about baby mamas and these women that same us. But you go slip up and you knock one of them up, and you know what's going to happen to you in the system. You get me? It's careless. It's reckless. You get me? And mind you, she's not a girl. She's a older Black woman in her late 20s. So when we think about women, they're going to deal with security one way or the other. And if your mind's not right and you have no real discipline, you're going to be eating out here in the streets. Because women are waiting and watching. Just like some of you women don't understand. Some of these dudes that, whatever reason that they have some engagement with you, they're in it for something that either they'll lock you down with a baby, because let's be honest, some of these dudes not being that productive. If they sit there knowing they don't have nothing to offer, but they sit there, lay it up on you, and then knock you up so that way they get something out of the deal. And that's no. You get me? So
exactly. And that's real talk. That is real talk. And that's the other thing too that I want to delve into, because there are a lot of Black men that are angry, and they're always preying on or praying for some sort of disaster to happen that will bring Black women to a point in their lives where they're desperate and destitute, and they have to be dependent on whatever little crumbs they're willing to give them. So, when the Katrina happened, they were like, oh yeah, these Black women over there in Orleans, they're going to be dependent on brothers and blah, blah, blah. Then when that didn't occur, then it was, when President Trump, gets in office, he's going to cut off Section 8, and these Black women will need us then. They'll come running to us. Okay, when that didn't happen, then all of a sudden, here come COVID. Oh yeah, these Black women, they're gonna be destitute. They're gonna need us to come and save them, and they're gonna really, really be desperate. They're gonna have to come to us then. And when that didn't happen, now they sitting up here looking stupid. Now they talking about now I think Kevin Samuels is talking about oh yeah, it's getting cold outside. Winter's coming because I think OnlyFans and took down Pornhub. Now, I have never done no porn on no type of online thing. Not all Black women is on OnlyFans showing their ass. I mean, what are these men talking about? Like, what are you talking about?
One thing I would say about OnlyFans, and they're removing the porn aspect out the website, and eventually going on in 2022, I wouldn't be surprised if they start removing the nudity as well, because it's a corporation, and they made their money off a lot of women that decide to flock on them just to get a quick bag. Now that they got their bag, they decided we need to go commercialize because we need real money. Well, I mean, Faith, they need real advertisement. How the hell are you going to advertise on OnlyFans site and notice that they have women showing their body, playing with their, with toys, or, getting penetrated by a man, to commercialize for products for people to consume, especially women to consume? Is not feasible, and it's not business savvy in the long term. That's why I remember when Mr. Samuels did mention that with one chick on Fresh and Fit about the what's the long term inspirations? What are you going? They think that this is going to be forever money. No, there's nothing forever. Business change every 5 to 10 years, and at the end, even YouTube is a business. Eventually, in time, they might remove all the low level or strong content creators off here just to be like Hulu or Netflix in time. We don't know. But the point is this, that when money needs to be made, really legit money, the main corporations are going to invest in these things, just put out actual products. And the people that are getting their bag now, they better think the long term of exit plans of a lot of things. And OnlyFans, yeah, people made their money off it if you market yourself properly. But most women, they think if they just do little sex here, they'll make more money, which it's been really effective. Because let's be honest, Fate, sex does sell, and there's a lot of dudes that are thirsty. That's why they give validation to a lot of these women to do what they do, and they get an easy bag from these dudes.
But chaos. What I'm saying is, even when the Katrina happened, even when COVID happened, even when Trump became president, there's one thing that Black men don't understand is that Black women have been adaptable since the dawn of slavery. So if we could adapt in slavery, and those are times when we didn't have too many rights over our own selves and our own bodies, but we were able to adapt. If we could adapt during Jim Crow, if we could adapt during all of these situations where it was even harsher things that befell us, what makes them think that a damn hurricane gonna stop us? What makes them think that a national disaster like COVID gonna stop us? What makes them think, well, whose president is going to keep us from being adaptable? Black women have been adaptable since the dawn of time, is what I'm trying to get you to see. And now in this day and age, nobody needs anybody. If there's a Black woman still out here, still crawling on her knees, sucking penis and being a prostitute, it's because she wants to. Because in this day and age, you ain't got to do it no more. You can pick up your cell phone and make money. Even if you're a crackhead, you can go get on Uber Eats and you can walk some food to somebody's door and make enough money to get a rock. So I don't understand what these men are talking about that these women going to have to come to them for.
Yeah, if you speak in faith, Dre's daughters learned the hard way to say, you're going to have to work now, and you're right. There's ways to survive, I'll give a lot of people excuses of how they can make the money now. My thing is this, that you're going to have to adapt in this environment one way or the other, you know what I'm saying? And either the strong pool of men, especially Black men out here, I mean, they said there's going to be extra couple million, that, some women are going to falter and some women are going to be just fine. So if winter is coming, I look at it and say, the people that fall suit for that, if we want to go there, are the ones that was not prepared. That's how I look at it,
Yeah.
I mean,
but let me shout out real quick Robert Benjamin for the $10 super chat. He says, good show. And I want to say salute to you, brother, and thank you for supporting the Faith Factor in CK. But before you go on, Mr. Chaos Rain, I see CK has come back up. I want to know, CK, did you finally fix your mic issues?
I still might be struggle streaming.
Yeah, you're using
right now I'm on my phone and I'm mobile driving around. So yeah, I'm struggle streaming. If you all can hear me very clearly, I'm gonna pull over and put out a couple notes. Am I coming in a-okay?
Yeah, fine now.
Yeah, you're coming in loud and clear.
Let me take a breather.
So when it comes to the whole winter is coming, the thing about it is Kevin Samuels, the prince of lies, the king of deceit. He has all these names. Who they're really talking to are the women who are already mammies and who are parasites. Because, piggybacking off what Faith was saying, women don't need men for anything. She can make money using her cell phone, like Faith was saying. She can get almost any job because most people don't want to go back to work right now during the pandemic. And most women are making more than men. So the people that Kevin Samuels and the rest of the manosphere and Black manosphere are talking about are women who are already on their knees, not wanting to do for themselves and wanting someone else to do for them. So all these gimmicks and campaigns, the winter is coming and all that, what they're really saying is those who are mammies, those who feel that they cannot survive on their own, you need to double down, and we need you to be mobilized against the women who can do for themselves. That's really what it's about. And it's shameful that there are actual men, grown men, who cannot wait for a tragedy to happen so they can have power over a woman, because that's the only way that they can have a woman, that is have their way with her. And there's guys right now talking about they can't wait for the Afghanistan women to come on over because they're going to be high value. No, you basically want a white woman. Just say what it is. It is what it is. And when
Who
those
said that? Who said that?
Oh, there's lots of guys. There's lots of men, black men and black YouTube, who cannot wait for the Afghan women to come over so that they can stick their wand inside the magic bag. But
these motherfuckers are crazy.
but the truth of the matter is, when the Afghanistan people come over, they're white. So they're going to push black people down collectively to a fifth-class citizen, making us collectively a permanent underclass. They were trying to do that with the illegal immigration, with the migrant caravans, but they're definitely going to do it with these evacuees. So, going back into the vein of winter is coming, the only people who are really going to be affected by winter are a majority of men who sit around complaining about their situation instead of doing something about it, in hopes that they can take us back to the days of the color purple, where Mr. was basically buying underage girls. Shout out to Polight for doing that mess and bringing this to the forefront for us to talk about. They want to take us back to those dark ages, but we're never going to go back. And that's why a lot of them are frustrated. I'm going to go on mute.
All right. Well, that was CK coming in with the knowledge. Again, welcome back, brother. Glad you got your mic fixed. Now let's move over to Miss Koja Malik. I'm so glad to have some estrogen on the panel. What's up, lady?
Nothing. How you doing? I'd be glad to bring this estrogen over there. I want to be solution based. So for any women out there who may be in the hard spot, want a new move or whatever to build a community, I got 2 lots over here. We could do a partner type situation. When I say partner, I'm talking about like what the Caribbean people do. Get some homes over here so winter won't be cold down here in Florida. So anybody get in the hardship, y'all want to do a community sisterhood thing and build us a community, I got 2 lots, 2.5 acres each. We welcome. We could combine resources. And I just
That's what's up.
Because my mama, 5 girls, ain't gonna never be homeless, because my mama house paid for, her car paid for. We might be on top of each other, but we ain't gonna be homeless. And she retired. So I don't know what they talking about. And if I see anybody out there that I can help and be my sister's keeper, I will help them too. And if you can't get over here, I got a 5th. You could get you a 5th wheel or whatever, drag it, pull it, tow it, and we can make this community happen. And ain't nobody gonna be cold in Florida, because the worst it get is what, maybe 65. So I just wanted to put that out there. All these men pimping like women can't get together and help each other out. Now letting some of them in the house, I don't even know what black men talking about. They have always depended on the kindness of women, whether it be Section 8, your auntie, your cousin, project housing. It's always been in the
tell it.
And if it weren't for us, a lot of uncles, crackheads, and everybody else would have been nephews, cousins, would have been homeless. So while they be talking about women, do they know how long it takes to stand in that Section 8 line when they do vouchers? Do they know how long you have to be on the list? But they won't get off their butt and go do it. So they can't talk about it. I don't even see some men who too sorry to sign up for food stamps for themselves. Somebody has to do that for them. So women gonna survive. Black women gonna survive. Hell, we might even thrive. We're gonna be okay.
We always are, and that's the thing. And that's what they get angry about. They get angry about these programs that help women. Because if you notice what the biggest gripe is, they're always talking about they need to take away Section 8. They need to take away food stamps. They need to take away welfare. And see, when they get to taking away these things, they're really saying that they want these women to be so downtrodden and dependent that they will accept just anything in order to survive. They want you to be like those women in those third world countries, because that's exactly their status right now. They want to put us at the status of women in third world countries when they're saying things like this. I want every woman within the sound of my voice to understand that is what they're actually saying.
All these grown men that get a food stamp card, they get mad on food stamp day. They don't even get mad on payday because they don't got no payday. But when food stamp day come and they live with their girl, they trying to get mad because they want to go and sell them little stamps and keep the money to themselves. So they better not get some of these programs cut off because there might be more men out there hungry than it will be women.
But you know what, Koja, and this is the other thing too. I put out a video some years back, and the title of that video was "Black Women Are Right Not to Trust Black Male Leadership." And I don't want anybody to misunderstand my intention with that video. This was not a black male bashing video, but this was a video of the reality of where black women would stand if we had to depend solely on black male leadership. Do black men even know how to be leaders? And would they protect the women and children? And judging by what is going on in Afghanistan, because there's quite a few black men that are in the Taliban, you see what they are choosing to do with the women and children. They have already started forcing young girls to become brides out there already.
This is the slippery slope in the underbelly, what they don't talk about, because we hear them say, oh, I'll get you a young girl. Then they say, 17 is better. But the reality is it will keep going lower and lower because we've seen this in history before. This is not new. Had it not been for laws in the United States, we would still have a abundance of child brides, but it's maybe here already in the United States. I don't know, but it would be more public. And women in the United States don't understand we cannot go backward because it wasn't good for women. It wasn't even good for white women. Let's understand they got welfare because white women was hungry, not us.
But you have a lot of mammies out here that will sit up here and they would uphold to the fullest black men like Brother Polight. They will sit up here and tell you that you ain't nothing because you not being submissive to these brothers. You got people like Crimson Cure. I'm just gonna put it out there because she says it all the time. She's all the time getting in black women's ass about not being submissive and about not allowing these men to lead. But the reason why a lot of black women are hesitant about black male leadership is because of situations that we see right now with Brother Polight. And I'm going to go on record as saying, your mammies are not just women that look like Crimson Cure. Your mammies are also women that look like Nicki Minaj. Can I go on record and say Nicki Minaj is a mammy?
Yes. That dick bill come right under taxes before tithes and offerings. So she got her dick bill. She probably pay hers before taxes because she probably got an accountant. So he get his off the top before Uncle Sam do. But it's a whole bunch of them, And I really like to tell women, we have the power over this. I hate respectability politics. I hate words like ghetto. I hate words like wifey, baby mama, high school dropout, low class, all those words, divisive words they use to divide women. Because as long as we take their terminology and engage in that process and make it a hierarchy, we are divided on levels and they play us against each other. If we all actually unified and quit with the names, quit engaging in the respectability part. Oh, you're a blue collar woman. I'm a professional woman. Oh, I'm middle class. I'm high class. I'm ratchet. You ghetto. If all of that stuff, because guess what? They screw across the board. And as long as they can turn one of us against the next and keep this, it is to their benefit and to women's deficit. Because if we came together on this, they wouldn't even be able to play none of us because it wouldn't be nowhere for them to run. But they keep us divided because so they can always have other options. I hate it. And I wish women, when I say get on code, I mean, I wish we would stop engaging in it. I wish we would stop saying, oh, she a slut, oh, she a this or that, because we give them that. I've seen women will come and tell a man everything about a woman. Oh, she ain't no good. You don't want to talk to her. Even if they don't want her, they'll run everything to that man. But men don't do that on the backside unless he's trying to screw you himself. Then he might give you some info. But on the most, they don't. And we
Well,
women really need to
that's the female version of dirty macking. We dirty mac on the other females when we do that because really and truly, you want that man. So you're gonna sit up here and dirty mac on the next woman and make her seem like she ain't that. Oh, she can't cook like I can. She don't clean like I can. She ain't submissive. She loud. She this. She that. That's dirty macking.
Yep.
Female version of dirty macking, and that's what a lot of these mammies is out here doing when they sit up here talking that talk. Oh yeah, I'm not like those women over there. You're dirty macking. You're sitting up here wanting to be a pick me under the guise of dirty macking on the females that could really do and that you can't do. But anyway, let me go ahead and get over here to Mr. Q Savage that just joined the panel. What's up, brother? Uh-oh, Q Savage is having mic issues as well. Hello, Q Savage, are you there?
Wait, hold on.
Okay,
Hello?
Q Savage.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. We can hear you, brother.
Oh yeah, good afternoon, panel. How you doing? Here come my little 2 cents about the subject. I mean, well, Brother Polight is a creep. Cause I'm trying to figure out how come he got all these grown women, but he still got desire for little girls. So he's a creep in my book. And honestly, for the fact is like when it comes to like the black community and black male leadership, I mean, I think the black community is done. It's a done deal. Only thing you can do is that take care of your household, and whoever respects you into your household, either man or woman, that's pretty much it. Everybody else you can't worry about.
That's true. That's
And
true.
that's my
You gotta that's exactly what CK said. You have to take care of self first. Exactly. But here's the thing, Q Savage. Here's the thing about brothers like Brother Polight. Do you think that if any of those young women or young girls that he took in to his fold and so-called made them wives, if their father was anywhere in their lives, do you think that he could have had any type of stronghold on those girls at all?
No, because for the certain examples that your father, your daughter, one thing you're gonna teach your daughter is have decency and self-respect for herself. That's the first thing you're gonna teach her more than anything. At least have that for yourself. And the second thing you're gonna do, you're gonna try to be around to try to support your daughter in the best way you can and make sure she won't have to go that route. Because at the end of the day, ain't nothing powerful in a little daughter saying, I got a dad.
Exactly. Now, say for instance, your daughter is 14, 15. You're not with the mother. You find out that she ran away. You find out that she's with Polight. What's your next move?
She with who again?
Polight.
Oh, I'm gonna do it for like the best way I can, but at the same time, I'm not trying to go to jail for attempted murder.
So how exactly would you go about dealing with that situation then?
I'll catch an assault charge, but I ain't gonna catch no murder charge. I'll catch an assault charge. That's all right. I'll catch an assault charge.
So you would go and you would beat up Mr. Polight.
Yeah, just for the simple fact is like first I'm asking what you doing with a 14-year-old and all these grown women out here. You got money. Pussy costs $50. Let's keep it honest. Pussy start really 25. It all depends when you look at it. So why is you doing this with a little girl?
No, the first step. I'm sorry, I got to interject. Hopefully, you guys can hear me. This is me as a former sexual assault investigator. Your first move needs to have a discussion with the mom, because if you go and put your hands on Polight, you go to jail. But if the mom is on board with whatever's going on, your daughter is going right back to Polight. So the first thing you got to do is have a conversation with the mom.
Yeah, because I probably agree with you on that for the simple fact is that because I want to hear what the mom guys say, because 9 times out of 10 I want to see if she on denial or she want to try to like overtalk me and try to gaslight the whole situation. So yeah, I'll talk to the mom. And maybe all jokes aside, maybe I want to do something to the mom for letting that shit happen on her watch or whatever.
No,
I don't know.
Now go
So
ahead, CK.
It's a long legacy of sexual abuse and turning the head the other way. We're just getting to the point where we recognize it and are talking about it. Like on somebody's panel, they was talking about high and go hunch. And you know, starting to talk about things that happened past. All of these bad traditions were handed down. So we slowly cutting it out and stuff. But it's a whole lot of mamas, sons, cousins, nephews, and nieces that inherit a whole lot of bad stuff that we have to cut out. So some people may run across some of them people, but hopefully with the education and more knowledge right now that we're having, it'll get better.
Well, I'm curious to know, you know, just based off of the men on the panel, because it looks like we are having trouble trying to figure out what we would do if we were in that situation. So I want to go to Chaos Rain. Chaos Rain, what do you have to say? Your daughter is 14. You found out she ran away from home to be with somebody like Polight. What's your next move? Chaos Rain, are you there?
Yeah, I got plugged the charge from my computer. All right, Brother Polight with my daughter. Well, first of all, I look a dude head to toe, and I'll be asking questions to my teenage daughter for anything else, because no man's gonna be going on a date with my child, period, unless I screen him head to toe first. Know everything. That's what I would do.
Okay, so you screen him from head to toe.
Yeah.
This is a man that's in his 30s, and he's got your 15-year-old, and she has run away from home from with her mother to go be with this 30-year-old.
Now, in the nature of this question, it means that me and her mother no longer together, and I'm co-parent, right? Or that's what we
Right, co-parent. That's where we're at, because that's the situation that a lot of these girls were in. That's the reason why I'm forming the question like this.
Yeah, that's gonna be very tricky because I'm not too fond of co-parent, to be fair and honest on here. I try to be involved as much as possible because if I have to sit there co-parent, especially my daughter, can be an issue for me. That's just for me. Because now question like this, you know, because now it's gonna be a problem. Cause now to find that this man has 15 years difference from my daughter for a reason, we all know what his real intentions is. And let me stop because it's gonna be criminal acts up here. It's gonna be bad out here. So let me just chill.
Okay, see, this is why I have to ask these questions, because see, in the Black community, we are always unprepared. So what I'm hearing on the panel is that we would not even know how to handle a situation like this. This is what I'm hearing. Koja, sister, please bring it home for me. If this was your 14, 15-year-old, she ran away from your home to be with somebody like Polight, a 30-year-old man, what would you do?
It's the real world, and it's what's happened. I would call the police. I would report them. I would try to press charges and gather as much information as possible. But the reality is, the police don't really care about Black girls, and they're gonna throw a name in the database. And if they happen to come across her, they'll come across her, but they're not going out actively looking for her. And you have to try to connect with your child and get your child back and come back there from that end, because you're not going to get too much help from social services. You may, unless she get pregnant and they have to report, the police really not going to do much, but I still would follow the process.
Exactly. Kenneth, right? Exactly. You get the authorities involved right away. Because Culture, you're right, the police really don't give a shit about what happens to young black girls. They really could care less. But a minor is a minor. They going to have to follow the law, and you as the adult have to be there and make sure that they follow the law. That means even if you got to take badge numbers and remember names and record shit, but you make sure that they following the law, because the law is the law. Even though they don't really care to, enforce the law when it comes to us, the law
Make
is
them give
law,
you
and
a
we have
report
to.
number. Make them give you a report number, because police will try to talk all the way around it before they, well, I guess every state and county different and city different, but make them give you a report number, because they'll try to get away from doing this, come and talk to you and leave. That way you can go and at least be assured that they did put it in the system. They just didn't throw it away to the side and do a CAD report. Just a little note.
Hold on a
Then
second. I think CK is back.
Before CK says something, now that is another way of doing things, but I'm speaking because for me, like most men, most are not going to take that approach, especially the majority. And I only can speak for myself. That's co-parent if they have to. They're going to, take more of it in their own hands because their own seed. And like I said, Kenneth, I saw you wrote the comment that you would do that. And that's cool. But every man is not going to take that approach, unfortunately. And I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but if you ladies know that the authorities don't give a fuck about the boys and especially girls, then most fathers that really, really care, they're going to do things something that most women don't want to hear, want to know. Yeah, so. But go on, somebody else could speak on this.
All right. Well, I'm going to move over to Kenneth Wright. You just got on the panel, brother. Welcome to the panel. We appreciate having you up here. I'm going to bump the question over to you. I know you just got here, but your daughter is 14, 15 years old. You and the mother are co-parenting, not in the same house. The mother has told you the daughter has run away and she is with a man, somebody like Polight. What's your next move?
Wait, hey, how you doing, Faith? What's up, everybody? What's up, Brother Chaos? How you doing, bro?
hey,
Well, yeah, the first thing okay, let's understand something. At least in California, I don't know, obviously states vary, but children do not have those kind of rights where they can go get up and go wherever they want, and however they want. Okay, even if a child runs away. Okay, again, I'm gonna talk about in California. If a child runs away in California, let's say they caught themselves wanting to stay at their friend's house or something like that, that is considered kidnapping. All a parent has to do is file charges against hey, I am in charge of this child. I'm the parent. This child is not supposed to be there. Da, 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 da. If the child feels there's something wrong, obviously what's going to happen is what is it called? God, I can't think of the name of them right now. CPS is going to get involved and see why the child ran away or whatever. Now, I'm saying that as to come back to this to if my 14-year-old daughter decided that she was going to run away and go live with a 30-year-old man, yeah, I'm calling the police, getting the proper authorities involved, going to this dude's house, and if they don't come out, I'm going, hey, I'm here right now. Something's about to happen. Okay, you make sure you let them know my daughter is here. I'm outside of this man's house. She is not supposed to be there as my parent. If y'all don't come here soon, something is about to happen. Watch them bring their ass because you got it on video or on recording. You plainly explain the situation. As a concerned parent, my 14-year-old child has run away and is living with a 30-year-old man. I know where she is. I called you. No one has responded. I'm sitting outside this house. You didn't say you were going to kill somebody or do this or do that. Something is about to happen.
I'm gonna tell you how it's the real world and it's the fake world. My mama been through this. My sister got pregnant as a teenager. You know that generation when they was talking about the guys that dated the girls at the high school and this and that. So unless the laws are changed, and cities might be different, but I imagine cities got less resources than what small country towns. They really don't give a fuck. The only thing what happen is when your child come home, you'll call them and say, hey, such and such came home, and take their name out the database, and you report your children to them, because if something were to happen and you hadn't reported them, and then you get a case for child abuse or child neglect or something like that. But unless the system doesn't change, and it could have changed, they really don't care, and they really don't put resources. The most what happen is if they happen to catch your child and they give their real name and they run their name in the system, and they may say, hey, your child here, come and pick them up. So, but things may have changed since then. But until you really start dealing with the system,
yeah, I'm assuming that we know where the child is. I mean, it's obviously. I don't think they're going to go for it effort. Maybe like go out, look at the child happens to show up, actually, putting all points bulletin out. Okay, probably not. But I'm assuming
and that's not the scenario. The scenario is where the child is. The child is with this guy. And I want to go ahead because I want to get especially the men's perspective on this.
Over to his sister house, his cousin house, because they don't let the child stay there. When the police come to the child, not gonna be there. They're gonna be went to this friend house or this relative house that helps them out and help them. Or he may have put it, somewhere else. So if it were that cut and dry, it would be, but that's not how it goes down.
Well, I want to go ahead and get CK's take on this. CK, are you there?
Can you all hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear. So same situation. This is your 14, 15-year-old. You're co-parenting. The mother comes to you and says she's with a guy like Polight. What's your next move?
All right, so here's the book answer. This is from when I was a sexual assault investigator. And first thing you want to do is you want to have a conversation with the mom. If the mom knows that the daughter is with Polight, and the mom's like, I haven't heard anything, she could be with Polight by herself without me, I don't care. Next thing you want to do is have a conversation with the daughter. The daughter has to tell you something inappropriate's going on. And let's say if the daughter gives you nothing, your third step would be going down to, or really calling a police station, or going down to the police station and asking to book an appointment with the division that handles sex crimes, and tell them what you allege about Polight and the situation with the girl, and let someone like a detective in sex crimes, let them kind of tell you what they would need hypothetically to put the guy behind bars. And when they tell you what you need, at that point, now you're wanting to basically quarterback the situation and gather evidence. You could do a background check on Polight, Google search. You're looking for a pattern. You're wanting to do all that because, number one, going to Polight and putting your hands on him or putting the hands on the mom, if there's no evidence of anything, all you're doing is making it worse. So you have to quarterback to get that evidence, and the daughter and or the mom have to be the one to tell you that. Now, because Polight is famous, it's more than likely there are people online. Hopefully you all can still hear me.
Yeah, you're coming in loud and clear.
Because he's famous, there's more than likely other people who were alleged victims. You want to communicate with them so that if evidence does come into play, you've done most of the work for the police department. Because putting away someone like Polight, who's protected, who has an entire economy built around him, you're not going to get him with just simple DNA evidence and a confession. You need a whole bunch of victims for a pattern. You also need him confessing to some things, and you may even have to a certain degree, do a sting operation to catch him in the act. It's a lot that goes into somebody like Polight as far as putting him away for good. But in addition to that, I would say the closest case that I've worked that had an underage person with like someone who was older, the main reason why that guy got caught was because he got sloppy. Because there were so many people who were protecting him, he no longer cared about going through the whole grooming process. And with Polight being the way he is and the way we believe him to be, he more than likely is grooming your daughter. So she's already brainwashed and drinking the Kool-Aid. So she's going to be not just unhelpful, but she may be combative as far as getting her into a safe place. So, you know, if you do all those steps, you can ensure your daughter is removed from any bad situation and she stays out of the situation, even if groomed. I'm going to go on mute.
Well, okay, well, can I respond to that, Faith?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, well, I mean, and I respect that you're I think you said you're a sex crimes investigator. Is that what you say your profession is?
Well, I was. I mean, are you going to sharpshoot?
No.
If you're going to sharpshoot what I was saying, go ahead.
Well, I mean, not everything, but because, again, you changed the scenario, right? Faith presented a scenario where the mother calls you, says, hey, our daughter has moved in with this 30-year-old man. I'm assuming that she's not okay with this, no more than I would be. Now, you said, okay, we'll talk to the mother and see if she's okay with it. So I'm just, now obviously, like I said, from as far as jurisdiction goes, and I'm only talking about in California. In California, parents have full jurisdiction over their children. Again, a child cannot run away from your house, right? And stay with, just say, I'm going to stay with somebody else legally. It cannot happen. Unless the parent, like you said, the mother is okay with it, you're not okay with it. Now you got to go through a bunch of stuff to take the mother to court and all this stuff like that or whatever. So, okay, I get what you're saying.
Wait, Kenneth. There's a lot of grinding on your end. There's a lot of grinding. I don't know where that grinding is coming from, but it's like really distorting the mic.
Even though I didn't hear that the mom was okay with it, I may have missed that part. Again, everything else I said would still be applicable because, I mean, if you're talking about a situation where a child has run away, then yeah, you just call the police and get the child back.
Right. That's what the scenario is. The mother is telling you the child has run away and that she's over here with this guy.
Oh, well, then why can't we just call the police and do like a missing persons thing or Amber Alert? That's a no-brainer.
Right. And then what the sister is saying, well, the police don't care. You got to make them care. You got to, put a scenario where, the police don't want bad press, right? Brother, you can commendable. You could, you can cop to that, right? Fun, but you call. I mean,
we would need more clarification as far as quote unquote the police don't care. Like we would need more clarification on that. Because see, when we make blanket statements that the police don't care.
No, I was just saying it's not gonna be all points bulletin looking for them. I just don't want people to think that.
Well, no. But see, if you know where
initially they may go out to the house and make contact with the person, but if she's not there, an ongoing thing, you would have to keep contacting. It's not like they're gonna do a specific case because we got like thousands of runaways and missing kids, so they may go out initially, and if they don't find them there, then getting them to keep going back unless you actually know that they're there at the time is not easy. Like people say, it's not like, I just didn't want people to get under the impression you go to them and tell them and it's going to be a all points bulletin looking for your child. I didn't want to give that impression.
Well, I mean, they do an Amber Alert, so it would be all points bulletin as far as the Amber Alert. Now, if it gets to a point where they go to Polight's house and she's not there, we could assume that they're moving her around and keeping her from being found. But I mean, at that point, it's someone being held against their will, like kidnapping. And we would have to know it's a kidnapping, and we would give that information to the police.
But here's the thing. Once again, if it's a kidnapping, that child doesn't have no type of will. It's the parent. So if I say my child can't be here, even if the child wants to be there, it's me. It falls on me as the parent. So if I tell the authorities, arrest this person, they kidnapped my child, then that's what it is.
And
You
that's
see what
if
I'm
the
saying?
child is there when they go there. That's the thing. If the child is there when they go there, if the child done been in contact with the parent and stuff, because I actually seen stuff like this, and it's been a long, long time. But that's if the child is there. If the child is not there, and a lot of times the child will move around, move around, move around. Especially after the police done came there one time, they'll locate them somewhere else or be somewhere else. That's all I was saying. It would be
Well,
nice if it worked out that way.
yeah. I mean, then I would see where Commendable is going with it, because it sometimes I think is it not just in these cases with children, but any kind of domestic issue. We want to put it all on the police, right? And the police is already spread thin. And then then you got to do your due diligence, and and if you got to sit outside this dude's house, and until you finally see your daughter. But again, children do not have God, I can't think of the name of it. Oh shoot. Uh, 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 the children don't have the free will to say, "Well, I don't want to live here anymore." They got to go to court. They got to get damn.
Right.
Emancipated.
They
They're
don't have
emancipated, right?
emancipation.
They
Yeah.
gotta be. Yeah, they can't just up and just say, "I don't want to live here anymore," because if something happens with that child, right, the parent is going to be the first person to be called, and they're going to be the one to have to take accountability for whatever's going on with that child. You know what I mean?
Right.
So now what if what I'm saying as far as a kidnapping or whatever, it technically is not a kidnapping because the child ran away, but it becomes a kidnapping if the person that's allowing this child to stay there says, well, think of it like this. It's no different than it's no different than a mother and father having visitation rights, right? And on said day, unless both sides agree, if your day is supposed to be every other week, and and your child, you go and take your child on the week that's not yours, that's considered kidnapping. The other parent
Right.
can go and file, and get the police involved and file charges against you. So it's the same concept as a child. Even if the child want to be there or not, then that's what, like Kim was saying, you got to go to court, you got to do all the proper procedures or whatever. It's unfortunate because you don't know what this creepy dude is doing with your child while she's there. And I shudder to think, some 30-year-old man crawling over my baby. But I mean, so like I said, there's a bunch of different scenarios that I think is being played out, and I'm just thinking like, what Faith presented, and which is my child, my child's mother calls me and says, "Hey, my child is, our child is left. I know where she is. She went to go stay with this dude. They got a bunch of wives and all this other weirdo shit. I mean, it was weirdo stuff that's going on." And I was like, okay, say no more. And, let me handle it as a father. And then as men, like Commendable, he's doing it the legal way and everything. I'm considering that. And I'm also considering what the sister is saying. Well, sometimes the police just don't want, and they don't act sometimes like they should, so you got to make them. What you make them do is you call them like Commendable, you're going through all this stuff. They're not moving on it. You make a move. You say, I'm sitting out this dude's house right now, right? I know my daughter is in here. You need to come right now. I'm getting my daughter, right? And let them decide they don't want to come out and something happens. It would be horrible for them. When that 911 playback call comes back and you put everything out there on video, it's no different than that one woman, the so-called auntie that killed her 2 children and put the children in the back and had them in the trunk or whatever. The grandmother said, I called you guys. I told you guys. CPS, every head's finna roll in that situation. The grandmother said, I called and told you guys. Unfortunately, she's not the parent. She don't have no legal bearing to go and get that child out. The parents do. She had to go to court and do all these things or whatever. But so I'm just, at least, unfortunately, I've never been in a situation like that. But I know a couple people that have, not so much running away with a man, but running away and decide, oh, I don't want to stay at your house anymore because you made me mad. I'm gonna go stay over here with Jenny. And Jenny's mom said it's okay. Like hell, I don't care what Jenny's mom said. You will be back tonight. Okay, tell Jenny's mom thank you very much or whatever. And because this is a classic case of inmates running the asylum. You start letting these kids think that they can go and just go stay someplace else. And who knows what Jenny's mom? If Jenny's mom is allowing your child to stay with her, right, without getting all the facts and not calling you and find out what's going on, then Jenny's mom ain't right neither.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
So there's laws that's been put in place to really, because really in the end it's protecting the child. Because these children, they think they know everything, but they don't.
They
But
don't.
still,
And as adults, it's our responsibility. When they're underage, we have to
yeah,
step in and make them do right. It is our
right,
job. If they can't see it, oh well, but it's
yeah,
our job to make them do right.
yeah,
We have
yeah,
to.
yeah.
But
And honestly,
It
just real
goes. It
quick,
goes back. Wait, Ken, I got some leave.
yeah,
It goes back again, like you said before, Fate, and I'll say this person that you have to be a parent first, not no friend. And this is what happens
damn
why
right,
you feel that way and bold to say it because you're a friend, and friends could betray and turn each other. And as a parent, either you're a single parent or you have both parents modified, you gotta lay the ground order right off the bat. If you're not doing that, as your children get to up there in teenage age, then they're gonna feel bold that you can't do this, and it don't matter because I'm still the authority and head house. I'm here to take care of you, groom you, so I expect you to be the woman that you need to be in the future. And sometimes my love is gonna be harsh, and you're gonna be up front. And if you try to go outside this order, there is some consequences. So I gotta go. See you later.
all right. Well, one thing I do want to mention now, this whole thing with Brother Polight has actually taken the attention off of a situation, and I was going to talk about it, but you all remember Crystal and Kerrison and the situation with her man, Mr. E, and he slipped and said somebody came on, I believe she was on, it wasn't StreamYard, it was, what's the name of that daggone platform? Clubhouse.
Some chat.
Yeah, they were on Clubhouse, and I
Clubhouse.
believe that somebody came up there and they made a comment to Mr. E that oh you're a nigga lover, and Mr. E said yeah I'm a nigga lover. I guess he called himself taking up for Crystalline when he said it, but it was really bad. So now all this Brother Polight stuff done took the shine off of that situation. So because
Goldberg and Ted Danson over again.
Yep, exactly. And see, Crystalline took down her Clubhouse account. I don't know if she took down her channel or not. I haven't been over there. But this whole Brother Polight situation has taken away from that little fiasco. And I really want to bring that up again because I don't think that should go touched. That should not go untouched because there's a lot of women in the divestment community that's real quick to talk about white is right and anything black is whack and abort black male fetuses and all this dumb shit that I'm telling you right now to this day I can go to some of these divestment channels and that's all they're regurgitating is this black male hate 24/7. Now I will tell you I will be remiss to say that there aren't some things that black men do that don't get on my nerve too. Some of these Negroes get on my goddamn nerve. Okay, I'm just gonna be honest. But it's never going to get to the fact where I'm to the point where I'm going to say white is right or anything that isn't black is where is it. I'm not going to ever get to that point because we looking around the world, looking at all these different communities, they got their dysfunction too. Everybody's got their dysfunction. And see what it does is it disarms black women even further into letting predatory men in. And this time it's just predatory men of a different race. So, once again, that Crystalline, I don't think she vetted Mr. E properly. And Mr. E kind of comes off as being a softie. He comes off as being a, henpeck, if you ask me. But CK, you saw that Clubhouse, or you saw a little bit of it, didn't you?
I heard the talk about it. I didn't see it. They've been talking in the YouTube streets about it.
Oh, Chaos says she disabled her YouTube channel. Yeah, so that whole little fiasco was pretty bad. So this whole Brother Polight thing, when it came, I believe Crystalline should be thanking Brother Polight because it kind of took away from her little situation. But I'm gonna bring it up again because I ain't forget. Okay, we gonna get that ass too. All right. So yes, she disabled the channel, and hey, it is what it is. Now I was over there at Crystalline Carrison's channel, and I was feeling the whole thing that she was doing with Mr. E, but there was always something that didn't seem right about that situation. And it comes out, Mr. E is henpecked, Mr. E is stupid, and he's not very articulate. And maybe Mr. E should not have been doing videos because, if you're not a YouTuber, you don't know that people can come out and attack from left wing. And he was just not prepared in that situation at all. And then how she tore into him when he made that little Freudian slip. It spoke volumes about their relationship because she emasculated him in a way that no woman should emasculate a man at all if she really cared about a man that she really cares about. That was something that they should have discussed privately. I know it happened publicly. There was a way to handle it. I do know that Cynthia G, Nyla, and Black Woman's Sphere came over there, and they kind of did some PR for her. They helped her out. Not quite sure why they helped her out, but they did.
Oh.
But whatever. I think that we should have let her get that on her own. But I'm tired of people bailing Crystalline out. Crystalline is a grown woman. She's a big girl. She don't need y'all bailing her out.
Ain't
But
she
anyway,
a black white? Ain't she a black Karen? I don't know. I ain't went over there. I just remember her and Shira a little bit with Tanya TKO. I ain't in that sector. I might, so to each their own.
And don't get me wrong, Koja, I respect Crystalline. There's a lot of her philosophies that I do repeat on my channel. But at the same time, when you stumble and you fall, and that was your bad, you clean that shit up your goddamn self. I'm not here to be your PR agent. I'm not gonna clean it up for you. You do that shit your goddamn self. Because she knew what she was doing when she was parading Mr. E around. She knew exactly what she was doing. And then for too long, she had all these bitter ass divestment chicks in her chat room talking that yam. And she herself has said that she was against some of the stuff that they were saying with the whole abort black male fetuses. But when she saw that shit in her chat room, and she even made some of them moderators in her chat room, she silently let them go on with their rhetoric, and it's coming back to bite her in the ass.
Yeah, she got to have a forceful front. Like how to take over your, run your thing without people running over you. So that's a delicate balance. And sometimes when people want to be super, super feminine, they don't know how to do it. It's a skill. I know sometimes when people come up on your stuff and you be like, no, not here. You're not doing that here. You're not going to overtalk me on my panel. So she better learn the art of that and how to say, no, y'all ain't finna be talking about that in my chat, and block a couple people and run her thing, so, but I just gonna stick with all regular black men.
Well, even if, because I'm like this, I like Crystalline's message, find the best man for the job. But the problem with me and her is that it seems that she has a particular preference when it comes to men that she likes to, date. So to me, it's not as if she's finding the best man for the job. It seems to me as if she goes out of her way to find the best white man for the job. And this time, because the man that she was with, I'm just speculating. I don't know anything about her life. But the man that she was married to, it seemed like he was a little bit more less controllable than Mr. E. The man that she was with would not get on camera. He would not, do a lot of things. And then when shit came out and her children were in jeopardy, that man that she was with told her, get your ass off YouTube, and she got her ass off YouTube. She came back, but he told her get her ass off. And now they're not together, so there had to been some kind of struggles. Don't know what's going on in their relationship. But now you got Mr. E all too happy to be on the camera, very controllable. She had a very good white puppet until he opened his mouth.
Well, yeah, I wish them luck. I don't know nothing about the interracial stuff too much, so I ain't gonna have too much of an opinion on that. But I think people should.
No. This is not you. This is all me. I said it. But this is my take on it, just from looking, because like I said, I'm like everybody else. I'm like you too. I'm on the outside looking in. But hey, just same way as people scrutinize me, Crystalline Carrison is not above scrutiny, and this is what I'm seeing.
Is she the first Black woman he's dated?
I'm not sure, but what I am sure of is when I look at the pictures that they taken. Just like they took a picture and she was like dressed in this Southern Belle outfit with the hat on and stuff like that. I don't know where they were at, but it just seems like these were all photo shoot type pictures, like, hey, look at me, I'm living a lifestyle type thing. And it's fine. She's really good at creating that fantasy. But to me, it's a false, how can I say, you're actually not being real with these women as to what it is that they're going to get out here. And, saying find the best man for the job, I totally agree with that. And she should have took that message and stuck with it. But at the same time, you don't find a man that you can control for the job. And that's what I see that she had with Mr. E. That's my take on it. Now, I could be completely wrong. But like I said, the way she talked to Mr. E on that live stream, poor Mr. E, I actually felt sorry for him.
Well, she, I guess she trying to live her brand. I guess she can't be single too long and be talking about interracial dating and marriage. And she trying to be a representative of her brand. I guess she said, I can't be a housewife of Atlanta and not be a wife. And sometimes it's better to let your personal life, you could talk about it, but not put it exactly out there for them to see. It might be the curse, like, the reality TV star curse. Maybe it's the internet couple's curse. Keep, one person could be on camera, not both of y'all. Too much drama.
That's true. But like I said, I respect Crystalline Carrison. I respect a lot of her ideologies. So this is not to say that everything that she's ever said or done was wrong. But in this particular situation, I don't think anybody should have been flying in to save the day. She created that situation herself, and it was her responsibility to clean that up. But hey, I don't tell nobody what to do. If people wanted to come in and save the day, that's on them.
Crystalline gonna be a Karen until a real Karen show up. She the modified version. She a Karen by association till a real Karen show up. Long as she ain't got to be confrontational with no real Karen, or it's a situation when it's a authentic white Karen, she is the Black version of Karen, so she need to be saved. That's just the impression that I got, cause
but Culture, you're right. She's very much the personification of a Black Karen. And here's the thing. Now, Crystalline is not innocent. She's done a lot of things over the years that makes her not innocent. It's not like Crystalline having doxed a few people herself. It's not like Crystalline having gotten people's channels shut down. It's not like Crystalline hasn't gotten her hands dirty over the years herself. But she's really good, like you said, Kolja, at playing that victim role. And people always fall for it, and they always rescue her. And what I'm saying is, I'm sick and tired of all these goddamn Captain Save-'em bitches. All these Captain Save-'em. Are we going to come in and under the guise of sisterhood? And, when did sisterhood become so important to some of y'all? Because, see, as some of y'all, you can't sit at the same table with you all because, you're not pretty enough or you're not just like us. And that's the other thing too with some of these heifers.
We ain't on the same.
Yeah.
socioeconomic level, or we didn't go, you from the suburbs and you from the ghetto, or, those status
Or
and
you don't dress like us. Your weave ain't like ours. Or, just stupid ass shit. And
yeah.
all of a sudden you care about sisterhood. I'm sick and tired of these fake caring about sisterhood bitches. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I'm sick and
Yeah.
tired of that too.
Mhm. They want to pick you up and they want you to do a George Floyd for them.
Yeah, but the
But
thing about it is they care about sisterhood, but only to certain sisters. So now
yeah.
if you look like us, you dress like us, you talk like us, well, then you can come sit at the table. Even though we all don't really have the same ideologies. Crystal and Kerrison, Cynthia G, Woman Sphere, Irene, they don't all have the same ideology, except for we don't like black men. That's the only thing they got in common. And I know they'll sit up here and try to say, "Oh, we don't like." It's not that we don't like black men. We ain't saying we don't like black men. I ain't never said I ain't like black men. You ain't gotta say it. You ain't got to. If the majority of your content is fuck these niggas, we don't need these niggas. We better than these niggas. Anybody better than these niggas. Then then anybody with an intelligent man will say, okay, y'all is not about black men. You're
Well,
not
I
about.
just think women better than men, period, across the board, no matter what race or ethnicity. I'm just going to put that out. I think we is the most evolved. I think man was the first prototype, but we was the perfection of God's gift. So I'm going to just say that I just like women. I just think women better, no matter what
You know
race.
what, Koja? If women were not fallible, I would agree with you. But there are too many mammies. The same way that there are too many men out here, like Brother Polight, there are too many mammies for me to say that women are better. We ain't no better. We got some ratchets in our group too that need to be weeded out. We got black women that are in our group that'll sit up here and turn the other cheek. When you got women like what was that chick? Courtney Omega sitting up here talking about she on a date with a 15-year-old. And then you had women that want to turn the other cheek and look the other way when she was saying she on a whole date with a 15-year-old. So I can't with some of these fake ass bitches. I can't. And that's the reason why I roll solo. I don't run with no posse, because if any part of that posse look like they doing some shit like that, I'ma turn on your ass in a heartbeat and talk about you like you a stranger in the street, like you stole something from me and everything else, because I don't play that shit. So yeah, I roll solo dolo. I'm sorry.
I ain't gonna talk about the divestment community because I don't really know nothing about them. I ain't got no beef with them. They could divest. I'm a stand by black men for the most part. Black American men, even though it's hard. So I know I be going in on some stuff, but I can't really talk about that because I don't really know too much about it. So I would just leave. But I do want us to have more sisterhood. And I was just joking about men. I do think we different, but I still think we 51%.
Well, Kim and them West agrees with you. She says women are better.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Well, Koja,
I let y'all have it.
I appreciate you coming up, sis. Once again, it's always good to have estrogen on the channel, and please come again.
Okay, and please be on more often. We miss you.
I be trying to tell her, Koja, to have a schedule, but Faith be on nonsense a lot.
Faith, did you tell him my theory? But you could tell him behind the scenes, I was crossing my fingers and hoping.
Yeah, I got those emails, by the way. I did.
I heard. I was like, is it? Could it? I hope so. I could see that being a good match, but I guess I couldn't. We're gonna have a YouTube love. We're gonna have one. Y'all have a great day.
Bye. All right, CK. Well, it's coming up to the 3rd hour, so I think I'm going to go ahead and start wrapping it up.
Yeah, I've been struggle streaming all day. But driving around and StreamYard don't mix. So hopefully you can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you just fine. Now you're loud and clear now. I don't know what was
Okay.
going on earlier.
Yeah, it was struggle stream. So I just want to kind of speak on the divestment, and then one last thing about the Polight daughter situation, because I was like borging real bad, and then I guess final thoughts. But yeah, as far as the divestment community, I mean they mean well, but here's the problem I have with Crystal and Karazin. Let me pull over for this, because I've been wanting to say this for a long time. So Crystal and Karazin, and then a lot of the high tier divestors, they say pick the best man for the job. Now on Clubhouse, Crystal and Karazin's Mr. E, he was easily baited into making a racist statement by a black dude. And see, because he was easily baited, he is not on the level Crystal and Karazin needs him to be to do social media with her, and she makes her money off social media. So Mr. E is not the best person for the job. And
Right.
it was clear based off that second Clubhouse thing they did, where she was emasculating him, talking to him like a child, telling him to shut up, and he was all goofy with it. It's clear he's not the best man for the job. He's not even trainable. But is Crystal and Karazin gonna dump Mr. E to get the best person for the job? And the answer is no. She deletes her social media and she runs and hides. Because when it comes to the divestors, high level, mid level, low tier, low tier being Crystal Swirls, their main focus is hate black men. And if that's their rhetoric, that's fine. But the thing about it is they package their hate speech in get with every other race because of all these crimes that these individual black men are doing. But when it boils down to it, they don't practice what they preach. So what they really are doing is selling divestment, the word, but what they're really selling is hate speech, supremacy, and overall moving money from your pocket into theirs. Because Crystal and Karazin is not going to get the best man for the job. She didn't do it. It's demonstrated based off of his ability to be easily baited in by the black dude on Clubhouse. And when you look at the other divestors, most of their content is about how horrible black men are, but not how to get another man, because they themselves cannot get another man, and they're not going to be able to effectively help you get another one, because the men who approach you right now, no matter what the race, that's where you are in the world. You can hang out in different locations. You can level up as far as getting more money. But when it boils down to it, when you go somewhere that you have not been, you're going to feel awkward. You're not going to be comfortable. So in my opinion, the best thing you could do is level yourself up, as opposed to trying to buy into the parasitical mindset that someone else is going to come save you from whatever issue you have. You have to put yourself first and level yourself up, as opposed to letting these people on YouTube lie to you. And we also saw with Nyla Says, a woman called into her show. It was her and Irene up there. And the woman, during a Brother Polight commentary, she called in and she was open and honest that while she was 22 or 24, she had relations with like a 16-year-old. And it's more than likely, based off what she said, the guy was younger than that. Now, the women, Nyla Says and Irene Yvette, they focused on, well, what made you like that? Was it a black man? And the caller said, no, I was attracted to him. It wasn't until he had dialogue with me that I noticed that he was childish and immature, but I still had relations with him. They gave her excuses. They tried to rationalize it. They gave her empathy and sympathy, but they did not condemn her for being a predator, or at least having predatory behavior.
And that was Nyla and
Irene Yvette.
in Irene. And see, this is the thing, you know, this is what I'm talking about. I did not see that, so I'm going to be fair. I didn't see it. So if Nyla and Irene did that, you know, that's despicable. I'm going to go on record. I don't care. You know, I'm no friend to anybody. I am not a respecter of anyone. Okay. So if Nyla and Irene did that, that's despicable. Because the same thing with Courtney Omega when we were over there at BMT's channel and it comes out that she's on a whole date with a 15-year-old. That was the first turnoff. You're not my sister when you're telling me these things. There is no sisterhood with a predator. And see, if black people don't get on code with stuff like this, just like people like Polight, I'm not even gonna put brother in front of his name. That ain't your brother if he's out here being a predator. You're not my sister if you're out here being a predator. Black people in the black community, repeat after me. I don't break bread with predators. So if you're over here condoning something like that, then how in the hell is your platform and your message good for anybody in the black community? Chaos Rain is back. Hold on. Let's get him up here. What's up?
Hello. Yeah, I was gonna call it a day until I heard this. Was this on Nyla's second backup channel, brother? Can you hear me?
Commendable,
Yeah,
okay?
it was on. She has two channels. It was the smaller channel, like 6,000 subs.
Yeah, but
the
was it
stream is
what? This is our YouTube on her channel, right?
right. YouTube channel. Yeah, it's the second one with the smaller amount of subs, like 6 or 7,000.
Okay, let me say something. And this is where it's getting problematic and now dangerous. And I'm very disappointed if Irene had to make an excuse for that and say condemn it, because if this was a man, they would go all the way depths of hell with this man. See, this is why they're with this community we're in right now. This is very problematic. There should not be no selective in regards to predatory behavior. It should be called out straight off the bat. And if she sit there, gave an excuse and tried to talk down, including Nala, I should not be surprised too much to a degree, because you know she's changed her platform just to get a different audience. I expected, but when I hear Irene Vet sit there and then didn't really condemn it, like really condemn it, I'm very disappointed, because she's the one that was talking about this radicalism, revolutionary thing, and she doubled down on a woman that was having relations with an underage boy. It's not good. This is not good to me as a man. I tell people many times, you better go and do your background check with a lot of these content creators. If their message is not consistent and they go on panels and accept things alternate, be very cautious. And this applies to all of us. You get me?
Absolutely.
All of us. And I don't mean this, I said all of us, because that is double talk. That's serious double talk right there. I don't care what it is. If we're going to talk about polite and the predatory, everybody make sure that same energy applies to women that's predatory young boys. There should be no strings attached. I don't hear about say psycho. No, you're a predator. End of story. Click.
But you know, I think Rude has something on his channel. I just saw the title. I didn't actually watch the video, but it was interesting in the title, and it had me thinking, because he was saying that when women are predators, they're not viewed as predators, they're viewed as nurturers. And I thought that was real interesting, because I can definitely see something like that. And so that's the reason why a lot of female predators get a pass. And I don't think that any woman should be giving another female a pass if she's talking about she laying down with underage children. A predator is a predator, male or female. Exactly, can't hide. Exactly. And see, we as a community, if we want to get the dysfunction out, we're going to have to start closing ranks. Dysfunction is dysfunction, period. There's no justifying. There's no trying to explain nothing. There's no, well, this my friend, so I'm going to, help her out. None of that. If your friend is fucked up and you sitting up here trying to justify for them, you fucked up too. I'm going to treat you as if you did the same thing they did. And that's what, the same thing that we are accusing the men of doing when they still was breaking bread with, what's his name? Polight Kelly, Mr. Polight Kelly. We set up here and said, oh, Sonetta was still breaking bread with him. But if you're going to sit up here on a panel with a female that says she on a whole date and that she done fucked an underage person, and you want to not hold that foot all the way to the fire, not partially to the fire, all the way to the fire. No justifications, nothing. We ain't got no room to be giving no pedophiles no type of justifications. I don't give a damn if it was the best romance ever, because we tried to romanticize R. Kelly and Aaliyah, and I thought that was sick.
And one last thing, I got jumped. They just now said they're gonna start streaming Aaliyah's music now after 20 years of her death. I saw it was on an article, and I find that funny that her music should be always streaming anyway. She's been gone for almost a generation. Why now they had to wait until 20 years? So a lot of things have been fishy around going on lately, man. A lot of stuff. Like, let me jump down here. I got things to do. I'll talk to you.
All right. Well, thank you, Chaos Spring, for coming back up, and please do come again. All right. Well, that's wrapping it up. I mean, we're 7 minutes to 3. CK, you have any other final thoughts before we leave this platform?
Yeah, y'all interjected when I had some good reception. Y'all know I'm struggle streaming over here, but you know what? Okay, so I mentioned the Irene and Nyla Says thing, and then with Courtney Omega, she used some of the signs that I've dealt with when I was a sexual assault investigator, and that is she rationalized and justified what she did, meaning when giving explanation, she was focused on her work in the community, the fact that she was a politician. She used her position and former power to justify.
Uh-oh. Look, it looks like Biden wireless strikes again. I keep telling y'all, those Obama Biden phones.
I know. Are you able to hear me now, or is it still muffled?
It's a little, yeah. Now you're clear. You're clear now.
Okay.
Uh-oh, now you're Borging again. Okay, Struggle Wireless has got CK. I keep telling y'all, man, those Biden phones, that Kamala Biden, y'all need to go ahead and just throw that back. I keep telling y'all to get the Trump phone. See, Trump 2021, Trump 2020. It would have been great.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and step down. Thank you, got it.
All right, well, I'm going to close it out with this, guys. As I was saying before, there's no justification, for anybody that messes with children. Women, I'm going to say what I said in the very beginning. Vet. I don't care if they're black, white, blue, purple, green, or orange. Okay, I don't care what racial group they come from. There's predators in every single racial group. One is not better than the other. The color does not change the fact that this person could be a predator. And women that don't have men in their lives, especially the fathers of the children in the lives actively there, your children are at greater risk. So if you're not going to vet, then don't bring men home. Okay. Now, nobody's saying that you can't go out and get your little freaky deek on. You know, do that. You can do that away from home. Okay. You ain't got to bring them in the house. If the man is too cheap to get a hotel room, then you shouldn't be fucking them anyway. Okay. That's how I feel about it. You're stupid if you're going somewhere with the guy and he can't even pay with the hotel. Okay, that guy didn't need to get no wham no goddamn way. And I'm quite sure that you're not that desperate for some dangling that you're going to go ahead and bring the man to your house to screw over your children. And see, that's the other thing. Too many of you mammies, too many of you struggle thirsty ass chicks, too many of y'all that's on that bullshit. I'm just going to keep it all the way real 100 on this live today because this live is needed. The stuff that's being said here, I might not get monetized. I don't give a shit. I might have made some enemies. Don't care because hell, half of y'all wasn't rocking with me no goddamn way. But I am going to say this. If you're sitting up here justifying for these fools, you are part of the problem too. There's too much of that going on in the Black community. And see, what it looks like online is it looks like something like what CK was describing what happened on Nyla's channel. If you're sitting up here trying to justify what a person did with a 15 or somebody younger, if you're justifying that shit, that's the same as what goes on in the house stays in the house. You're sweeping this shit under the rug. It's the same damn thing. And that's the problem with the Black community. The same thing with Brother Polight. You brothers are sitting up here knowing that you're seeing him with underage women and you're still going over there breaking bread. Well, it's the same damn thing as what goes on in the house stays in the house. The same damn thing as you sweeping it under the rug. And it's the same damn thing as you not protecting the environment that your women and children come up in. And I'll say it over and over again. It is the men that decide whether or not the environment is going to be safe for women and children. So if you saw something like that and you didn't check that shit, you are part of the problem too. Definitely part of the problem. But I want to thank Incrumature for the $5 super chat. He said this was a very cool stream. Faith, appreciate you, sissy. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you as well. But I'm going to go ahead and cut this short. I'm going to cut this short because it's going on 3 o'clock and Faith got appointments and different things that I got to keep. I got some stuff that I'm working on. I don't know when exactly I want to roll it out because I have daughters. They're in their 20s. They have friends and their friends got friends. So I want to start streaming with young adults because, see, we could talk about what's going on with young adults, but I want to actually talk to people in their 20s. So it's going to be real good. I got young, beautiful, gorgeous young women that I want to bring onto the channel with equally young, handsome, beautiful Black men. And we want to chop it up as to what's going on in the dating scene with people in the, what do you call it? They're not the millennials, they're the zennials. So we're going to talk to the zennials and see what's going on with them. But at any rate, I want to say thank you to everybody that stuck your head in. Thank you to everybody that gave me a super chat. And thank you for everybody that graced my panel with their pithy words of wisdom. All thoughts, all opinions are respected here. We're here to have the conversation, and we're here to come up with viable solutions for the community. So please, if you have not already, hit the like button. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel, and make sure that you also visit CK's channel because he also has a lot of great content on his channel as well. And with that, I'm going to say peace.